Hello and welcome. Oh my God, I'm so loud. Welcome to the latest episode of the Anthem podcast. It's our music episode.
Yeah, good afternoon, everybody. Episode 9.
Yep, and we're joined by our music aficionado.
Yes, that would be me.
Shannon's here.
The famous Shannon that you heard from episodes 8, 6, 5, and 2.
What?
Have you been keeping track of when we mentioned Shannon
trying to remember.
Have you really mentioned me that much?
Yeah. Okay. Well, number one, somebody's not listening. Yeah, obviously. Yeah. No.
I thought we were friends.
Obviously, we talked about you.
Yeah, I knew about the Ryan Flaherty thing.
Well, we talked about you last week, and then we talked about you came up during the drinking episode, which was on episode 5. And
how
then,
did obviously I'm not in the I'm not a mind to remember what happened that episode.
Yeah.
But
I think it was a random. We were telling the stories about. I feel like an opening day story. That's how it got brought up.
Oh.
And then we also talked about the Orioles a couple times, and we brought up you via the Orioles.
Because obviously Shannon likes the Orioles. If you're watching the video, you can see.
I do.
And Cory likes KCCO. So
What can I say?
yeah, and the Orioles.
I like my charitable organizations to drink a lot.
Right. Well, there you go. And put random pictures of girls. I can always get behind that. So
It's like a Tumblr for men.
yeah.
Like specifically.
Well, I was gonna say I think Tumblr is also Tumblr for men.
Well, no, but I mean, like I think it's sort of like a what do you call it? Like a
it's like Cosmo.
no.
For
What
men.
is the word for when it's pre like sorted for you?
Anti-establishmentarianism.
No, that's just a word you like to say out loud. Whatever. We're going off the rails already.
Right. Yeah. So
Today's our music episode.
Yeah, music episode. And I want to just from the jump say we brought in the episode with music, and your song could be featured in that exact same position, not just one week, but every single week, because as we previously talked about, we do have our contest going on right now to create the theme song for the Anthem podcast. $150 cash prize, contract with the aforementioned record labels, and your very own music video made by, I wouldn't say, I was about to say yours truly, but I have nothing to do with that, by Cory.
And I would like to say, just for the record, because this is something I've kind of like half worried about, making a music video on my part involves like me showing up with equipment and shooting it for you.
Right.
Like, I don't want somebody to like call me and be like, all right, so basically what I want to do is a shot by shot remake of Never Want to Close My Eyes by Aerosmith.
Yeah. Yeah.
And you can get us to a rocket to launch, right? Like, you can get that footage.
Well, here's what I'll tell you.
I'll just be like, I can't afford to get that footage.
The contract that's going to be written for the people who win the contest, because we need permission to use it every week, obviously, and I love to make contracts, so we'll include that. That it, the idea may be theirs, but the final product will be EP'd by you, so you get to choose in pre-production what actually gets done and what doesn't get done and what are we doing. And so if you want to do a shot-for-shot remake of Aerosmith, great. We will shoot it in the backyard of Cory's house. Yeah. It'll be a big cardboard rocket ship. And
just have somebody in an all-black, like, leotard, like...
Exactly right. Yeah, well, here we go. All right, yeah.
But Liv Tyler might be in it. I don't know.
Yeah, we could probably get Liv Tyler.
We could probably get her.
What is she doing?
I don't know.
Smack?
That's what I'm saying.
I Maybe? I don't know. I don't know. I feel like I haven't heard.
I like Liv Tyler though.
No, I do too.
Am I the only one who liked Jersey Girl here in this room?
No, I did. I love Jersey Girl, and it's one of the movies I hate that I liked.
Yeah,
like Julie. I hate that I liked that too.
I never saw Julie.
Oh God, it's a horrible, horrible movie. But yeah, whatever. Anyway, so how was your week, Cory?
It was good. I don't think there was anything too notable that happened.
Catching back up on regular life.
Yeah, just getting back to sleeping at a normal hour and. Rob hitting
the mic with my bottle.
Mic with his bottle.
Whoops.
How was your week, sir?
More of the same nonsense. I mean, in 15 years, when somebody gets the video from us getting ready for this episode, and they're like, "Wow, he really doesn't like to do his job," which isn't true. I like to do my job. It's just now that we've started doing all of this stuff, I'm like, can we just like skip forward 5 years and be doing this all the time and not do anything else?
Or we have a building and it's not like my basement, not my workspace.
And I'm not, doing the soul draining work that I do all the time. And I love it, and I feel great when I do good work for people. It just wears and tears on the soul. So, but on the previous topic, we also had a fantastic meeting yesterday, and
Not
was
yesterday.
it day before?
Friday
night.
Because I was at a bachelor party for part of the evening yesterday.
The lamest bachelor party
It wasn't.
ever.
I'm sure it got better once I wasn't there anymore.
Well, something tells me yes that it did.
See, well, okay, so I guess that's the one thing that I would say from this week that happened.
Right.
Was because so I had to. The Mercedes was in the shop, which is not an uncommon sentence that anybody who owns a Mercedes will say.
No, I like how though most people would hear that sentence like, "Wow, Cory's got a Mercedes." People who listen to this would be like, "It's in the shop again."
Yeah.
Jesus.
So the money that would have normally gone to G-strings and shenanigans, went into fixing a Mercedes,
Right.
that I don't drive anymore,
Right.
and. So my part of the bachelor party was going to the baseball game and drinking a couple beers. That's the amount of bachelor party I could afford last night.
Also, not the club that I would have ever stepped into ever again.
No,
just
but
because
I would have gone to see if I knew anyone there.
Well, yeah. I mean, you probably would know somebody there. That's why I wouldn't go. Although
maybe somebody who stole all my DVDs would be there.
Oh, I forgot that happened.
Yeah.
I wonder if no, she's not there though. She's in California or something now.
Oh, is she?
Yeah, she got clean and skedaddled.
Oh, good for her.
I know, right? Yeah.
Shannon, how was your week?
It was good.
Anything of note?
I got a new car.
Yeah.
Yeah, that happened.
Rob knows all about that car.
Yeah.
Worst car ever.
Best car
looks,
ever.
I was going to say, it looks very comfortable from the front seat, just not sticking my 6-foot frame in the back.
At least this one has a back seat.
Fair enough.
Yeah.
I would have been
Did
sitting
not.
on the hump in the old car.
Yeah, so that
Sprawled out
happened.
across the back,
Yeah.
the trunk.
Please don't hit anything. Like the old station wagons where your dad slams on the brake and you go pinballing around the back seat because there's no buckles and you're sitting in the back making faces at the cars.
I kind of miss station wagons that had the back row that faced the other way.
Right.
Because my mom had a Taurus that had one of those.
Wow.
And whenever we went to Ocean City, causing trouble for Rob's family with our traffic, I would just see everybody behind us
Yeah.
picking their nose and
We went to Florida and we took the minivan and my dad plugged the seats in backwards and used the space between the seats to put the luggage so that my sister and her friend were in one seat and me and my friend were in the other so that we couldn't pick on each other.
actually for equal weight distribution, that's not a horrible idea.
Right. So I fell asleep, literally, I don't know, 10 minutes from Disney.
Yeah.
I'm so excited, out. And I woke up and I didn't realize that I had fallen asleep. And then I saw oncoming traffic. And my mom tells a story about how I was freaking out and clawing my way over the seat before it registered to me that I was looking out the back. But on traffic and chicken neckers, I would like to thank the MTA for making my life hell today, for pulling over a wonderful woman and her child in the middle of the Bay Bridge. So thank you for that, because that makes all the sense in the world.
Yeah.
Backing up traffic. But what did you hear anything about the episode last week? Speaking of chicken neckers and how much you guys suck?
Not really.
Really?
No.
See, Eastern Shore people are so passionate. They're just yeah, you give it to them. You tell them what's up and to stay over
Eastern
there.
Shore people were all about that episode.
They were all about it. Thank God somebody
listened
said
on
it.
their radiolas.
I was going to say most of
They
them.
got to keep cranking to get the sound.
Yes, exactly right. And the two we also discussed this week something that we didn't. I probably should have known.
I listened to that episode on vinyl.
But the toll's going up, and it was just you didn't even mention that the toll's going to be $10 soon, and that'll keep them over here. And I'm it won't keep them over here. Did you hear them?
That'll just frustrate Cory, who has to pay that toll every time he has to
Exactly.
go to Rob to record a podcast and go back the next day.
You got to get Easy Pass. That's the best thing.
I have an Easy Pass.
Okay, then it's not going to go up to $10 for you.
Oh, cool.
It's going to be it's not staying. It's only going up a few cents though, rather than the full amount.
a full cent.
Well, because right now it's $6 for everybody to go across, but if you have the Easy Pass, it's $4.65 or something like that.
Yeah.
So it's going to go up to $5.15, but it'll be $10 for everybody who's paying cash. So.
Okay. Well,
And
that's
you know
fine.
what? Stay on this side of the bridge. Honestly, yeah. Not
Speaking-
you, but the vacation.
Speaking of road trips and trying to get this back on track,
Right, yeah.
What's the road trip playlist for you? If I tell you you're driving to New York right now,
Right.
Like what are you pulling up on your device of choice?
Well, I got to say, I mean, more recently, and I mean, just being honest, it's been podcasts. It's like
Yeah.
I'm so far behind. I would just use the time to catch up. And we were talking earlier about the girl who made me the 19 hours of music for the 4-hour drive back from New York. And there's a lot of good stuff on that, but I don't want to listen to the CD. So, like a single album that I could just listen to and drive. On the topic of embarrassing music, Paramore. I would totally rock Riot from Paramore all the way up, maybe on repeat. Maybe I would let it just keep playing through over and over again. There's probably some, if I could make a list, I would probably have a list of stuff, but that's the one that reminds me of like the summer of 2009 and just puts me in a good mood being at the beach, 2009, rocking it. But yeah, so how about you?
Shanny, do you have any?
Mine would be the entire discography from Fall Out Boy, probably.
Hell yeah. See?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's good driving music.
It
You
is.
know,
Sure.
you know what? You guys are both fools because here's what you do.
Okay.
You have like your iPod or your phone that has like your whole music,
Right.
everything you own on it, either like physically on it or in the cloud or whatever, and then you just hit shuffle and then skip.
Well, see, but
And then
I do
just
that. I do
listen
you
that
to
said
it.
what
driving
album?
normally.
Yeah.
Yeah,
do that.
everything is the correct answer for that.
How about
Yes,
Pink
we
Floyd?
will.
Is that what you would put on
Oh,
your?
God. Here we go.
I do have the box set right here.
Here we go.
Oh wait, you're hitting stuff.
Oh, we're good now.
Okay, all right.
Because breaking news right before we hit record on this podcast.
Here it comes.
Shanny said that she doesn't like Pink Floyd.
That's not what she said.
That's not what I said.
Shanny said that she hates Pink Floyd.
That's definitely not what I said.
Amongst the worst bands ever in the history of the world.
No, that would be Pearl Jam.
Oh yes, yes. But no, the whole point of that conversation was it's an album that you could put on and then just get a regular night's sleep. And 14 hours later, when it's done, wake up and go back on the radio.
Here's the I was driving with Aaron somewhere a distance away.
Gettysburg for your romantic weekend?
Just call it Gettysburg.
Sure.
For the sake of it. And I said, I want to play the song because I knew that we would have an uninterrupted
Right.
period of time
You could
to listen
force
to a Pink
her-
Floyd song.
You could force her like a POW to listen to it.
And we listened to Echoes, which is one of my favorite Pink Floyd songs. And I was going on and on about how I'm upset that in the original vinyl release, it was 27 minutes long, the track of Echoes. And then when they re-released it, it bumped down to like 25 minutes. And then when they put it on CD, it was like 23. And then by the time they released the Echoes Best of double disc CD compilation of Pink Floyd, it was like a completely unacceptable 17 minutes. And
Wait, I'm going to interrupt you. Is Echoes the song that 35 seconds in and 25 minutes in, it sounds exactly the same?
no, they're completely different.
Okay, so it's not the song that someone might get confused that, their performance had been 25 minutes long and it turned out that it was
No,
only a minute
it
15.
goes all over the place.
What
But that's
song-
what I love.
What song would sound the same at like a minute 15 and at 25 minutes? So that if a young man in college were...
Almost nothing. Are you trying to talk about that song?
Yeah. What song was that? That was Pink Floyd, right?
That was Pink Floyd.
Yeah. I really want to tell the story. I'm not going to.
We'll
but-
we'll save that for whenever we talk
College.
about college.
Best story ever.
That might have been Echoes, actually.
I think it is. That's why you reminded me.
No, because I think I was so high at that point in time that like I just imagined
Yeah.
the different segments of the song.
Sounding the same, yeah.
Yeah.
Now, wait, so Echoes, is that the one that has the clocks in the beginning of the song?
No, that's Time.
Okay, is that the one that has, like, it's talking about a wall in the middle of it?
That would be Another Brick in the Wall,
Oh,
either
okay.
part 1, part 2, part 3, or part 4.
Okay, sorry. I don't know Pink Floyd.
All I'm
like that.
saying, this is me. I guess we're gonna just go right into like our favorite music,
And why Cory
like
sucks.
desert island music.
Oh, Desert Island. Okay, yeah.
If I'm on the desert island and I can only bring like one thing with me
Yeah.
to enjoy for the rest of my life, it is this. It is this entire box set because
Yeah.
I have enough music in here forever,
Right.
and it's all. It's not my children, but like I love every single bit of it. and there's enough variation.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like that if you don't like Pink Floyd being like echoes Pink Floyd, like 27 minutes of just like freeform jazz expressionism, then you got like Learning to Fly, which is just like a nice, really like classic 70s rock song. Or, you know, even shit on like the Division Bell, which like other people hate. I love.
Mm-hmm.
I'm all about Division Bell.
So I just want everybody to notice that of the three, or to guess, of the three people here, who has been through a period in their life where they smoked pot a lot? I'll just go ahead and give you the guess. I'm not going to say who, but one of us has done that.
One of us at some point has smoked the marijuana.
Yes.
Yeah.
Exactly right.
And this is the one going on and on about how Pink Floyd is awesome.
And how it touched them so intimately.
No, but it's not even... It really isn't about that. Because there's been... I feel like marijuana and music specifically, which is a great like sidebar to get into
combination.
Here.
Yeah.
Because, you know, I feel like everyone... anyone who has smoked weed and listened to music has a profoundly different experience with music than people who haven't. But I think when you're high and listening to music, there's like a different... You gain that different level of understanding that you wouldn't get if you're just like driving and yelling at chicken neckers.
Well, you think that you do. I don't know that you actually do.
No, I would argue you do.
Well, and I think this is the thing. When we were sitting outside doing pre-show stuff, every song we talked about was involved in a story. And I think that like music in a way is unique in that we're talking about, well, talking about bands that we don't like. Yeah. And it's not just, I don't like Dave Matthews Band, which I'll put it out there. I don't.
Right.
It's not because I don't like the music. It's because I don't like the fans. And we talked about that. But then it wasn't just that fact. It's, I don't like it because of the fans, because this happened. Because I associate something in my life that happened with that song. Or this song's on my bad juju list. And it's not just that it's a good song or a bad song. It's that there is a memory attached to it. And more than movies, more than anything pop culture based, that I think that's what music does. And that's why the smoking the reefer while you're listening to it can do that, because it's not just the music you're thinking about. It brings
you to an experience.
Right, yeah. And the marijuana just adds to the experience part of it.
Possibly.
So, yeah.
It makes an experience out of things that weren't experienced. What's the word?
Are you high now?
I was going to say. Well, but no, you know, and I think that's what it is. So when you think of Pink Floyd, you've listened to it all your life, basically. Yeah. Once you broke away from Mom and Dad's music, which happens.
No, but that was in Mom and Dad's music.
Oh, okay. Well, yeah. So
Dark Side of the Moon was one of the albums that I listened to when my dad was like grading law school papers out on the porch.
Right. But
like he would put Dark Side on.
Smoking, when you listen to it, isn't just experiencing the song, which I will admit I can imagine, because I never would have done it myself, that smoking weed and listening to Pink Floyd would give you just a cathartic experience of itself, but it also takes you back to sitting on the porch with your dad, and every time that you've listened to it since then, riding with a girl in a car, and you heard the song and all that kind of stuff. So it's part of an experience rather than just a thing.
I think with some, because I don't know if, you know, obviously there are Pink Floyd stories.
Yeah.
And there are, I don't want to make this the Pink Floyd hour, but I mean, like,
can we not?
Yeah, welcome to the Pink Floyd podcast. We're going to be talking about Pink Floyd. It's all Pink Floyd.
Episode 1, Piper's at the Gates of Dawn.
Jesus.
Where do you stand on Syd Barrett? Yes or no? I feel like there's a difference, though, between music that is brought on like by experiences, like, oh, this is the song I used to listen to with that girlfriend I liked in high school, right. Or this is the song that was playing the first time I got laid, or this is the song that was playing when I hit that home run,
right?
In whatever, you know, LTRC 13-14 baseball or whatever. Like, there's songs like that, but then there's also songs that sort of like rise above because of the craftsman like standards of the people who play it.
Right.
Like I don't think anybody out there is saying like, you know, oh my God, I listen to so much Kesha because she is just she gets to.
She's an artist.
She's an artist. She figures out the humanity in all of us, and she cracks through that into a place where we can only survive through dance.
Totally relate to her.
Well, I gotta say,
She is life.
on occasion, I do brush my teeth with some Jack Daniels and then go off to a party, so that happens. I mean, I can relate to that. But another thing that we were talking about, like, are we losing that with the
Yes.
Yeah,
turn
definitely.
down for what?
Yeah.
Yep.
I
You
can't.
know?
If I hear that song one more time, I'm taking hostages. I swear to God.
Turn down for what?
Shannon, come with me, please.
But I mean, do we? Who is that? Who today is
A craftsman.
a craftsman? That isn't a craftsman because they figured out they can make money being a craftsman. John Mayer, we talked about earlier. I don't think that his heart is in the music anymore. He's just saying, you know
I
what?
disagree.
Really?
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
He's not just saying, this is my sound and I can sell albums and let me just put
because
together 12.
his sound has wildly changed from album one, from like Room for Squares to where he is right now is like completely different.
Yeah.
But it's not completely different in a like, hey, John Mayer, record this album so you can sell a lot of albums. Because I don't really think that his sound today is as commercial as it was when he was doing,
But
I want to run through the halls of my high school.
They buy it because girls, Shannon's age, not Shannon specifically, I'm going to guess, but Shannon's age will buy it just because it's a John Mayer album.
True.
Because it became a part of their youth,
Yeah.
and now they buy it just because of that.
There was actually a girl in my class in high school who got a John Mayer tattoo.
Really?
Yes.
You're dedicated at that point.
She
You
got
got to
a-
buy every
A
album.
John Mayer tattoo, so I'm positive she is still buying John Mayer albums.
Right, but just because of that. Not because
Yeah.
it's good, or because it's because she just buys John Mayer albums.
Well, I have a
Right?
Shell Branch tattoo, so
And you would
I
buy
have
anything
I-
she put out.
Oh,
Yeah.
I lost my headphone. I have a him tattoo, and I still
nice.
And you would-
download their
Yeah.
stuff.
But you wouldn't buy the album.
I-
Are you
Of
saying you
course I
download
would.
music illegally? Is that what you're saying?
I have legally paid for every bit of music that's on my phone.
Oh my
delete, 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 delete.
Every single bit of music that's on my phone. Currently.
Yeah. Even though their last album, not good.
No,
No, it's
not
bad.
their best.
It's a bad album. I still
Yeah.
listen to it.
Though, specifically with HIM, just because we got off on that argument, like, I find that I listen to their album, like, the first time I hear it, I'm just like, oh my God, this is terrible.
It's true.
Like, I hate it the first time I hear it. And then, like, randomly it
as
comes
you
on,
listen.
and I'm just like, oh, this is a pretty good track. And then I listen to the whole album, like, 6 months later after it's, like,
Settled.
embedded itself in my psyche,
Yeah.
and I'm just like, you know what, I was too rough on this when I first heard it.
I do that with a lot of music.
Yeah, like, you
They're-
hate it initially,
Yeah.
and then...
Of course.
See, but here's the thing: if it wasn't a band that you had a connection with, would you do that?
Yes.
Really? Like, so you would? Sometimes you just sit down and you're like Kesha from whatever her first album.
Well, no,
was.
No,
because
not-
there you can separate
No.
separate the people who are going to be able to have a surprising second act with their music, and
Right.
those who don't. Like, so I was trying to find some heavy music, like heavy punkish type music to fill the void that Lost Prophets once had.
Now wait, why is it that you're not listening to
Wow.
Lost Prophets anymore?
Because of varied legal problems by the lead singer and the lead singer alone.
Perversion.
Yeah, the fact that he's a fucking
Well, and you know, I love.
awful person.
We never talked about it, but that happening is why we finally said let's do the podcast. Because you're like, I gotta get this out. I gotta
Yeah.
talk about how crushing the blow this was, and then we never did do an episode about losing our heroes.
That's weird because, just okay. So Ian, those who don't know, Lost Prophets was the lead singer of Lost Prophets was Ian Watkins, and he had a shit ton of child pornography on his computer,
And on the cloud,
and he conspired to rape a baby.
yeah, which he
And-
did successfully for what purpose?
No, but and then he didn't rape the baby, but he
Right,
he
he
did
cons-
rape other underage
Conspired.
girls
Yeah.
around the world, and pretty much the worst human being ever in the history of the world.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, up there.
Up
Yeah.
there.
Along
Well,
with other people who conspire to rape babies.
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
I feel like that one's pretty like non-negotiable though.
What
like-
you mean like what's his name getting a girl who announced that she's 16 and he continues to send her Instagram direct pictures and shit. What is his name?
I don't know.
Franco.
Franco. Yeah.
Oh,
She's like, "Oh, I'm 16." He's like, So you're in the city? I'm like, don't ignore the fact that she's 16.
Yeah.
What is wrong with
Well,
you?
there's
also a big difference though between 16 and like
baby.
6 though.
Given.
There was also that I think it was the guitarist of that band, As I Lay Dying,
Yeah.
who hired a hitman to kill his wife.
Yeah.
Was that
And
it?
There was another
Something like
there was
that.
another
Jesus.
like child pornography one that was out recently too.
You know, I
I
feel
don't want
that's
to
a-
like lump the wrong band into it.
Yeah.
And that's why I wouldn't
So,
say that.
yeah.
But no, it's. I think it's the power of becoming a rock band and having a woman who's like, I just had a baby. Would you like to have sex with it? I will bring it to you.
Yeah, but you know, this is more to the point. Like we talk about like moments with music.
Right.
And like how, you know, you think about like, you know, that girlfriend that you had. But then as soon as that relationship ends, you don't want to listen to any more fucking whatever, you know?
Yeah, and I realized I said
Like you're
Bad
done
Juju.
listening to Rush because that girlfriend was really into Rush and now you don't want to listen to Rush anymore.
I said bad
like-
juju list, but I didn't define it. But that's what the bad juju list is.
Yeah.
It's something you can't listen to because that reminds you of the person. The music doesn't stand alone anymore.
Right.
It just reminds you of her.
Yeah. So
Or him.
Or
him.
Or
Yeah.
him. Yeah. No, but and what I was saying before is that
for Robin, Shannon, him.
I hate when it's one thing when something eclectic reminds you of a person, like something from 10 years. You know, like Rush. It reminds you of Rush.
Rush is a lot more than 10 years ago.
Well, yeah, but you know what I mean.
FYI.
Like, it's not going to pop up on the radio necessarily. Like the worst thing is, well, judge me if you want, but I love J. Cole. I like his music. I think that the most recent album was fantastic, and it just so happened that somebody liked to dance to his song. So now I can't. Like every time it comes on, I'm like, I love this song, but frick, now I'm going to think about her for the next 3 minutes.
That's the problem. Like I'll be driving in the car and I'm listening to music, and then all of a sudden Lost Prophets comes on.
Yeah,
and more often than not, like I hear the first like. I want to do that. Like I hear the first little bit, like where it's just the band playing, and I'm just like, God, this is such a good song.
Yeah,
and then I hear his voice, I'm like, can't do it, can't do it.
When sometimes you get into it and you don't realize. Like it plays for a while, and then you're like, why am I thinking about this person? Oh, that's right, this song. Yeah. Like I enjoy the song, and then all of a sudden I'm thinking about her, and I'm like, I wonder how she's doing. You know, sometimes I miss. Wait, why am I thinking about her? Oh, that's right, because this is the song that she likes to take her clothes off to. So
we should play a song.
Yeah.
And let's sort of break this like
absolutely, because we're getting in a dark place here.
Yeah.
All right. Yeah. So wait. Who was that first up? Who was first up on the intro there?
That was Matt Talley.
Right. Okay.
Matthew Talley.
And you'll be able to get connections to all of the songs that we play in the show notes.
Yeah. I'm gonna link to everybody.
Right.
Yeah.
Shanny, did you want to play one, or should I like do the?
I mean, it's up to you. It's gonna take me a second to get into them.
Well, here, let me see how well prepared we are with this.
Here.
And so we just went to
play
Guitar.
Tenfold.
Yeah. Okay. Let's do that.
We went to Guitar Center, and I told Cory that I was going to buy him a soundboard that costs like $4,000, just so we could avoid this kind of stuff. It has a computer hookup, and we could just have the whole thing going on. So in 5 years, when you're watching the podcast, it'll be a huge board.
We're just gonna have GoPros like pointing at each one of us.
God, wouldn't it be nice to be in a studio somewhere, like our studio?
Oh,
big table.
I'm gonna love that. When you drive over to the new studio every single.
Right. Although, P.S. I'll put Shannon on the board. I'm taking you off the board at that point.
Okay,
executive decision making.
I'm not really that great at the board. I'm just sort of here out of like, who's better at the board, me or Rob?
But yeah, that's basically how it is.
That's sort of how this goes. So. This one is Tenfold.
Yes, by Victims of Experience.
Exactly. Ooh. And they're from Baltimore, so.
Here we go.
Hey.
It's a thing with no reason. It's been so long without a sad story to tell. And now you're trapped in a corner. It's like you stop believing. You turn around, but there's no one there to help. The dead of the night, you found yourself clinging to the spots where I would lay. You're lying alone, holding on for dear life. All you're thinking about is how you're going all away. Well, I smile to myself, I heard how low you fell. It made me feel so high, yeah, I can be so bad. You did it to yourself, you got something to tell me.
when I was driving, listening to this song, like when you sent it to me, like I feel like the speed of my car accelerated a lot in that time period.
Yeah.
Like,
Well, that's what another thing I love about music is that next thing you know, you're
doing 70 on York Road.
You're listening to Rage Against the Machine and you're headbanging and doing 90 miles an hour.
Oh God, how much I hate Rage Against the Machine.
Here we go.
All right, sidebar, music sidebar. Rage Against the Machine was a band that was popular when I was in high school.
Yes. It still
when
is
we were in
popular.
high school.
Still is popular.
Do people still listen to Rage Against the Machine?
Well, no, now it's Audio Slave, right? Same band, but with, what's in it, Chris
Cornell.
Cornell's the lead
sexy.
singer. Yeah, but it's Audio
He
Slave.
is.
Sexy.
I've met him. He's a very sexy man.
I'm not ashamed at all. That man.
But now Audio Slave is Rage without Zach.
that
replaced with Chris.
can yeah.
So.
Basically.
And
Wasn't there
Zach-
somebody else that was interchanged there too, though?
What, an audio slave?
Yeah.
No, I think that they didn't go with Chris Cornell first. They made
No.
Audio
I
Slave
thought
without
like the bass player was different
Tom
too, or
Morello.
something like that. Because Tom Morello's in it.
Yeah.
I know that
Morello.
much.
Yeah.
And the drummer is the same guys from Rage Against the Machine.
All I know is
The
no
one
matter
who
how much
freaked
you
out at
hate
the
it,
Video Music Awards.
I will totally go to a concert that is just like Zach and Chris interchanging between the old Rage songs and new Audio Slave songs. I'll
No,
totally do
because
that.
okay, so no, because fuck that. I went to see Tool in concert, and
Well, that's where you made your first mistake. But
no,
okay.
Tool. Hey, fucking Tool is awesome. But all right, so I went to see Tool in concert, and opening for them was Tomahawk, which was a Mike Patton. It's Mike Patton, right? I'm feeling like
no idea.
I'm losing track of my names, but he did Faith No More.
Okay, yeah.
He was the lead singer of Faith No More, and then this was his new band Tomahawk. And it sounded a lot kind of like Faith No More. It was a little bit different, but it was like a variation of
I always love those though.
what
'cause
we
you know that the lead singer
what we
had a
what we
fallout.
grew in love with, you know.
But the lead singer had a fallout with the band, and he's like, "Screw you guys! I can go make this music with anybody." And then they just do basically the
Yeah,
same
but then
music as the band.
Tomahawk, like Mike Patton, I'm
Yeah.
pretty sure that's the right name. So
Yeah.
excuse me if I'm going off on the wrong one. But he was playing this. He opened up with a really cool song. It was just like, oh man, I can get into this.
Yeah.
And then by the second song, he's like waving the microphone intentionally in front of the speaker to create feedback.
Yeah.
I'm just like, you fucking asshole. Like, so I wouldn't want to live in a world where it's just like Mike Patton on stage and then like the members of Faith No More and the members of Tomahawk and they just like switch out.
A horrible
And then,
example,
like-
though, because I love Rage and I love Audio Slave, and as much as you hate Zach De La Roca, I like Zach De La Roca, and I like Chris. And having them interchange. was
Here's
great.
the argument, and I have yet to find anybody who has been able to like explain to me this sentiment.
Okay.
Zach De La Roca is writing lyrics that mean a lot to him about issues that mean a lot to him.
I would assume, yeah.
Why in the fuck are you screaming them and like not at all enunciating? If you want to like, you know why every single person looks for meaning in American Pie? Because you can clearly hear every single lyric of American Pie.
Oh, I went to the movie automatically, and I'm like,
No,
do people look for meaning in American Pie, the movie?
The Don McLean song, American
Yeah,
Pie.
yeah.
Like they're just like, you know, like, oh, who's the Joker?
Right,
Like
yeah.
they all, this has been going on for God, how long? 45 years
69.
that
right?
American Pie
No.
was out.
74 is when he is that what was it only album in 74?
I thought it was tail end of the 60s going into the 70s.
No, I feel like he references 69, but the album was actually in the early 70s.
Possibly. Whatever. We're talking
Yeah.
a heavy
Very long time ago,
a very comfortable 40 years.
Yeah.
That people have been trying to find the meaning in Don McLean's American Pie.
Right, yeah.
And still haven't like cuz he's not telling.
No.
What,
And it means
what-
different things to everybody.
Yeah, and you know, the gesture sang for the king and queen means something to every single person who listens to it.
Yeah.
Name one Rage Against the Machine lyric that isn't like in the chorus. That isn't like Bulls on Parade. Do you know any of them? Like
I know what
do you
I know what
do
the
you
songs
know
are about.
do you know okay, but you have to like you hear you know, back in the day when you were listening to HFS and Rage Against the Machine came on And you're just like, you know, that first little like, no matter how hard you try, you can't stop us now. Like you hear that little bit and you're just like, all right, I'm digging this. And then he starts screaming and you don't know what it's about. And listen, I'm not trying to sound like old man Cory here because I love fucking screaming music.
Yeah.
Like, love it. Like, I still maintain that, Every Time I Die's version of, or no, Evergreen Terrace's version of Maniac that they did for their cover album was like one of the greatest versions of that song I've ever heard. And it's just literally the whole time, you know, like the song you know, well know and love, just like screaming like the whole time. You can't, you know the song, but you don't know what he's saying. Like, I'm fine with that though.
I have 2 comments to that. Number one, I was delivering pizzas in 2002. I want to say it was 2, 3. I got out of the car listening to HFS. I got back in the car, and there's 2 guys like, "Hola, buenos tardes." I can point to that moment when I realized I was an adult. Like, something shifted in me, and I'm like, oh, what happened to HFS? And then I'm like online, and they're like, oh, it's not HFS anymore.
They just moved again, I think.
I know, and I love that they're still bringing it back, but it's not
It's
the
like
same.
on
as-
HD radio now.
The same.
It's not the same as being on 99.1, and that was like a huge letdown for me when they left.
What
so.
upset me most
I
about...
miss HF Festival.
Yeah. I like the
Virgin
fact that...
Festival. I still have Virgin Festival.
Not the same. No, because... HF Festival, like with the local stage, like that local stage was fucking on point.
Hell yeah.
And they, like, I still remember a couple months back, Geico had some sort of like thing where they were like, Baltimore's not really known for its music scene.
Yeah.
Like in some video, and I want to, like, that'll be in the show notes. Fuck that guy. Fuck that third place VJ from MTV who lost out to fucking Jesse.
Well, yeah, Rolling Stone named us one of the best local music scenes
Yeah,
a few
and-
years ago.
Oh my god, the artists that if I could just have carte blanche to play like any local music on this thing,
Yeah.
Yeah.
like
We
we
could do
just
full
we just
episodes
played
just
2,
yeah.
but you know, and they're pretty good. But if I could include Wyoke, if I could include even fucking Good Charlotte,
Yeah.
SR-71.
like SR-71,
God.
do you
Jimmy Eat
remember
World.
Army of Me.
Jimmy Eat World
Army of
wasn't
Me.
one. Army of Me.
Jimmy Eat
Yeah.
World. Where, aren't they local?
No, they're from Arizona.
Wait. I'm not thinking about them. I'm thinking about somebody else then.
Jimmy's Chicken Shack.
Jimmy's Chicken
Jimmy's
Shack. That's
Chicken
who it was.
Shack,
See?
yeah.
Yeah, Jimmy's Chicken Shack.
But then there's
I
a
was like
shit
the
ton of it.
Ballyhoo?
Yeah.
Ballyhoo's from here? They're
Crack the Sky.
blowing up right now.
Yeah, and wait. Army of Me used to be
Army of Me.
Cactus Patch.
Cactus
Cactus
Patch. That's when I
Patch.
saw
Yeah.
them, Cactus Patch. Are they still making music? Because I
Yes.
remember I love that
They
album.
are.
Oh, man.
They
Okay.
definitely are.
Takes me back to- And Good Charlotte, though. Good Charlotte, when they were playing a crappy little theater in Annapolis or in St. Mary's County somewhere where you drove forever for a 100-seat room and they still were realistic, not when...
No, but I remember seeing Good Charlotte play like the Wrecker,
Yeah.
like opening at the Wrecker, not even like just like
Yeah.
They played at Autobar. I
Yeah,
remember
like
them
all-
playing
yeah.
at Autobar.
No, and that, I mean, again, talking about the industry itself.
Oh, there was another
What-
great
that happens.
great band I saw at the Autobar. It was it's one of those ones like you hear them. Anytime I go to Autobar, I end up buying a CD and like listening to it all the time.
Best $6
As I
you
saw
can
like
spend.
I saw like Carmela's Gang there. I saw Drugstore Cowboys there. Shit. There's just a shit ton of great local bands that I saw there.
Well, it's the only place left.
I was
Yeah.
going to say,
To
is it
play.
me or are they shutting down those places?
Oh, they are because they're not making money anymore.
Yeah, I mean the Wrecker's gone.
Yeah.
Yeah,
It's some
and
douchebag dance club now.
Everywhere is
Fletch's is
pay
not
to play
Fletch's
now
anymore.
Yeah.
too.
Well, and that's the other thing is somehow the bar thinks that they need the bands to pay them to come in and play, and I don't understand. I don't know when
Because
that got
they
lost.
aren't with local music, they're not going to make any money. Nobody is paying money to come out and see live music.
Here's the
anymore.
Sean's Music in Easton still does the open mic night. They still have small bands come in and play. People come in there. The place itself is not making music, or is not making any money, I suppose. But they sell drinks, and if on a Wednesday night you're not going to fill the joint anyway, just put a band in there, and I'll come in and buy 2 beers and.
I hate pay to play. I think
It's the worst thing.
that's the worst thing. I would rather play. I'm not of a band, so I don't have like a horse in the race in that regard.
But you are a bass player.
I
the way that
do.
you own a
I
bass.
do own a bass. I do own a guitar, and there's a
crooked bass.
keyboard that plugs into my computer over
Right?
there.
Yes.
These are all things I own. So hypothetically, I'm a guitar, bass, keyboard player.
Right. Yeah.
I imagine at some point I'll buy a drum kit just to have.
He's a
one-man band.
A one-man band, but in the
I'm just a town away from
Hypothetical.
recording Purple Rain.
Hypothetical one-man
but
band.
like Dan who
No, but
would
like, I'd
play all the instruments and record it, and it sounded fantastic.
Yeah,
but he couldn't
but-
do it live because it was him playing everything.
I would rather play for free than pay to play.
Right.
I feel is like at least, if you're not making any money, then I understand me not making any money, but I don't know. I just think pay for play is like
I've done a couple of charity events and
play for pay.
and I did not realize.
Are
I've done
you
a couple.
sure you're not?
You're right.
Yeah, I'm fine.
Uh,
You guys have seen me all day, so
I've done a couple of charity events, and I didn't realize how big a deal it was that these bands were dealing with that. And I'm like, well, listen, just so you know, it's a charity. All the money is going to this, or not necessarily a charity, but it's going to something, so we can't really pay you. And they're like, yeah, but we can just show up and play. And I'm like, yeah, and there'll be like 150, 200 people there. Absolutely, we'll come and do it. And that's when I heard from them that like there are some places where we put the money down, and if the bar makes it back, then we get some of it back. But you're putting money down to be heard.
well, the one I always hated too was this, and I think this happened at the Wrecker a lot because all the bands that I knew that were playing there would always be trying to sell tickets. Like come buy the tickets from us,
Right, yeah.
cheaper than buying it there. And then it's because they had to buy 100 tickets,
Right. Yeah.
and sell them to all their friends, and they were a discount ticket, but you had to pay for 100 tickets,
Right.
at the $6 cost, and then hand them out to
And hope to get it back.
and hope that 100 of your friends are willing to buy it from you
I've always wanted to do
to
And
make that investment.
There was
back.
the problem that the promoter for those shows, if you didn't sell your tickets or if he didn't like you, then he kind of had reign over a bunch of the local venues. So
Yeah.
you couldn't play anywhere because
Yeah.
he didn't like you.
I had this idea before to buy a tractor trailer bed, put everything up underneath it. Like all your power sources, everything plugs directly into the actual surface. Pull into a parking lot anywhere. Band jumps up, puts on a show, and before the cops can get there, we break it down and we're out. Like you need to be sitting in the front seat of your car with the guitar, and then we're going to slide into this parking lot. Everybody jump up and then just plug in directly to the surface. It's going to sound not so great because Cory's going to be in the back alley somewhere doing sound
with my 5-track.
Yeah, and like little monitors, just but allow you to come out in public and put on a show, and we'll do it for. Tell all your friends, use Facebook, and say be here at exactly 6 because the show is 9 minutes long. That's the respond time for the Towson PD. So get there. We're going to put on a 9-minute show, and then we're out.
The respond time for the Towson PD, where one. I'm not going to get into that sidebar right now.
Okay.
I was reading an article. This is where I was going with this. I was reading an article talking about how in the new era of music, bands are more like it used to be that, having a song in a commercial or something like that was like selling out and like, how dare you, man?
Right.
How dare you but like now pretty much every single band is all about like trying to get commercial work.
I have discovered so many new bands from commercials.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Like,
What's
it's
it?
ridiculous.
A Nissan commercial that had a band in it, and I was like, I don't even know who this is, but it.
Well, it used to be
I
like
don't know.
like Apple had Feist
Right.
in one of their iPod commercials,
And
then it went to like the #1 song in the country like the next day.
Zach Braff, I love his movies because I always discover new bands that I like. Because he scours MySpace and just finds music that he likes.
Yeah.
And he's like, I'm going to put that in in one of my movies. So, I like that too. But that's, for people who I know who are in bands who are just like, I don't want to sell out. And I'm like, listen, you sign a contract for a record label, you ain't going to make any money more than you're making now.
Yeah.
But they will cover your living expenses, theoretically, depending on the contract, so that you can actually just do music. That's all you do. And you're still going to be broke, and you're not selling out so much as you are just doing it as a career rather than working at the movie theater 40 hours a week and then playing music on the weekends, that kind of thing. Mm-hmm. Because no, you're not making any money from it. You're not selling out. They don't care about the creative until you sell, 50,000 units. I mean, in the first few weeks of it being out, they're not going to try to control your creative. They're just going to allow you to make music. Stop. I mean, it's not 1990 anymore. Just calm down. Sell your music somewhere.
I feel like there's not the RIAA, who I will like personally hold responsible for everything wrong with music these days. Just didn't understand what was going on with the internet when it first happened, and it ruined the market for music everywhere.
Yeah.
Like that's the problem. Like nobody could I think Shanny's cell phone is making that sound.
Feedback.
Yeah, I mean they just totally fucked the pooch on it.
Well,
and like now nobody makes money on music. They make money on, like, oh God, I hope that this Mazda commercial picks us up.
Right. But 70-year-old guys who used to be in the know in the music business, trying to adapt to a new technology that they have no concept of what it actually is or the potential. So then you overreact, and even now we're still catching up to where we probably should have been in 04, 05.
See, this is the thing though. Back when Napster was the deal.
Oh God.
Like,
by the way, I look like the dude from Napster. Apparently that's my doppelganger.
Well, back when you used to wear the hat all the
Timberlake?
time.
Yes, yeah, Justin Timberlake. Well, let's go ahead and say
MySpace.
that. Yeah.
I'm not seeing it.
Well, but the guy. Well, I used to wear a black Nike hat all the time, and apparently the guy from Napster always used to wear a black hat.
Not Sean Parker, the other one.
Yeah, not Seth Meyers. Was it Seth Meyers?
No, that's.
No, there's a
on
movie
Late
that he's.
Night.
No. Seth Green. Seth Green, who does a movie where he's talking about he's like the hacker, and he's talking about how the guy who did Napster stole it from him while he was sleeping. Is that the Italian Job? I feel like that's the Italian Job.
Possibly.
Yeah. Do you guys not watch movies? Are you not watch movies at all?
Please.
Wow.
Please.
Anyway, sorry,
You're
I look like the guy
accusing me
from
of that?
So anyway, you're saying Napster.
Do you need me to go bring my rack of DVDs from the other room in here like I did my Pink Floyd
Please don't.
anthology?
Please don't.
Because I will. We got this on camera and shit.
On camera and shit. And you're talking about Napster.
Napster.
Yes.
What used to happen with Napster was somebody would say a band to me.
Right.
Like, oh, have you heard of, Metallica? Mm-hmm. Be like, no, I don't know who Metallica is. And then I download like 5 random Metallica songs that were like right at the top of Napster.
Right.
And then I'd be like, oh, these Metallica guys seem pretty cool.
Now, did they slap you?
And then,
did they slap you?
And then I'd go to the record store and I'd buy Metallica albums.
And then you got sued.
Yeah, but now all of a sudden, like, and that's the thing too. Like, I feel like the people who are cool about it, like, I'm totally, like, I never liked Metallica to begin with. That was just a hypothetical flight of fancy.
Yeah, I was gonna say, did the guy smack you when you said you didn't know who Metallica was?
No,
I would do that. Like, really? Of all the
no, but I mean, like, how many people who weren't like Metallica fans prior to Napster, like, heard Lars Ulrich being an asshole and went like, "Oh man, these guys really sound like they're on point."
Right.
This sounds like that rebel rock I really like.
Yeah,
like
regular Rage Against the Machine over there.
But I mean, like, I still like. I think it was Dave Grohl who was talking about like. He doesn't give a shit if people download the music.
Well,
like,
they don't make any money from the album, so it doesn't matter.
Yeah, and System of a Down had "Steal This" album, which I thought was a phenomenal album.
And for an artist,
just like B-sides and like
an artist that isn't that well known, who I don't think I introduced you to, Immortal Technique.
Yeah,
who like his website is you can't. Well, at the time, I guess that was God, man, I'm so old. That was like 05, 06.
Yeah,
you couldn't download it from the website, but you could listen to it.
Yeah.
And so he's like, listen, if you can find it somewhere, download it for free. I don't even care. He's like, I made $1 million.
That was one of his raps. Yeah. Burn it off the fucking internet. And
just play it for other people.
Yeah.
Make them listen to it. And I was luckily in New York, and I tracked him down at a show and saw him live and purchased the album because I liked it. And that's what I did. I would listen to 2 or 3 tracks. I'd be like, I really like this band.
I really do like that Radiohead model, though, where it's just like... You could buy, get the album for free if you want.
Yeah.
But just pitch us what you seem fair.
Yeah.
And they were getting all that money because they were like completely unhinged from a label at that point.
And they did that all themselves.
Yeah, they did that all themselves. And I'm sure there's a shit ton of people who downloaded it for free. I'm sure there's a shit ton of people who downloaded an entire album for like $1.
I paid $2.
Yeah, but somebody out there who really likes Radiohead paid $50 for that album.
And they told their friends about how the person who paid $2 tells 5 of their friends this album is so good,
and they go and buy it for $5 or whatever.
Whereas if they had to go buy it for $25, they just wouldn't have bought it.
Right.
You know.
But there's art, like, if Warner Brothers would fucking release a Michelle Branch album already, I would pay any sum of money. Like,
Right.
if I seriously wanted to, like, just, like, hang out when I was in LA, like, hang out outside of Warner Music and just be like, somebody in there has a Michelle Branch album, like the new Michelle Branch album.
I have cash.
It's like a master copy.
Yeah.
It will not end up on the internet. This is my face.
I just
want it. I have $100 bill in my pocket. If you give me that album, I will give you $100. No questions asked.
Yeah.
Like, I just need that music in my life. Like, please, for the love of God. And, like, Michelle's recorded, like, 5 albums that haven't been released since the Wreckers.
Well,
And
and
it, like, infuriates me.
God, I like the Wreckers too. That was good.
Yeah, the Wreckers.
The other girl in that, I really
Jessica
liked
Harp. Her
Yes.
solo album was phenomenal too.
Yes, it was.
Like, everything. Like,
But no, so
it's not like she recorded, like, you know, some really shitty, terrible album that
Right.
everyone hated. It's just, you know, they don't know what to do with, like, singer-songwriters.
things are shifting. It's shifting to the pop.
But I love
so much
fucking
so.
singer-songwriters. That's
I
that's like my.
No,
I'm weird.
I would love to
I'm
support
weird
them.
that if like somebody was like top 3 genres of music, it would be like punk, Motown, and singer-songwriters.
That's an odd combination.
Yeah, but I love it.
Well,
Those
speaking of singer-songwriters, do we have another one that we can listen to?
Yeah.
Do you have somebody else?
I do, as a matter
This
of
is
fact.
one of Cory's picks.
Yeah, while he's queuing that up, we started the story about Friday, but we had our first organizational meeting for the non-existent project that we're putting on, and we also spitballed a movie, which I love that we sat on a park bench and spitballed a movie.
Yeah,
and got it framed.
we got to get Shanny and
Involved
ideas
in-
on that.
yeah.
'Cause she,
But no, so we saw
I'm
we saw
awesome.
local music.
Yeah.
We saw we went out and saw I don't want to say her name because we haven't talked to her yet, but we went out and saw somebody we've talked about previously, and she was she was just as good live as the songs on the internet, and I
Yeah.
love when that's the case. And but I love that's the thing I love about singer songwriters is she did an acoustic set, and we went out there and she sounded fantastic, and more props to her. I'm hoping we can get in touch with her and feature her in the future.
But this one. So I was on the music bed looking for songs for the love letter
Right.
to like help like fill in the love letter.
I didn't think of to go. I should go there and see if I can contact people.
You could,
Because I was going around SoundCloud,
But,
like searching for local people, and
but so I was on the music bed. I was just like, I need to find a good song to like fit in here just in case. And I stumbled upon this girl, Hannah Miller, and literally spent the next like hour not working and listening to her music instead.
and then you sent me the link.
Yeah,
and
I was just
I
like,
stopped
fucking-
writing for 3 hours.
Fucking listening to this girl.
Yeah,
But she is phenomenal. So this is Hannah Miller. And obviously, again, all these bands are going to be on the show notes. So
Right.
check them out. And
smooth transition, fantastic.
My father is a steady, quiet man. He chooses his words carefully, hardly ever shows his hand. They tell me I am just like him. There are things about us both I don't understand. I guess I just had a lot on my mind lately. I had a lot on my mind. I guess I had a lot on my mind lately. I had a lot on my mind.
isn't this girl just phenomenal, though?
Oh, God.
Like,
And
when I
she's-
sent her, this is what I love too about the internet and like the place that we live today is that like I just sent her a message on Facebook, and I was just like, I love what I heard. Like, I basically told the truncated version of the story I just told. Like,
Right.
you know, I was on the music bed trying to find music for my new short film, and I heard you, and I spent an hour listening to it, and I think it's phenomenal, and I would love to show you, or like, show you off on the podcast. Like,
Yeah.
please allow me to play a song. And she's like, yeah, permission granted. I'm just like, yes. Like, it's so much more convenient to get in touch with people.
Yeah.
And, you know, I guess the flip side is true, too, where, like, you can, you know, just hit up somebody on Twitter and be like, oh, Lars Ulrich, you're a fucking asshole.
Yeah. One thing I thought about after Friday, though, thinking about the whole thing Saturday, I'm going to start wearing a ring when we go to those events. Because
A ring?
Yeah. Because I wanted to be clear that what I thought about in a conversation we had was that I don't want the people who we may be there to see to think that I'm saying this as a way to hit on them. So that the ring is the key to, like...
I do worry, like, especially when I'm talking to lady types.
Yeah.
That, like, I say things like, you know, like, I am so fucking enamored with what you're doing.
Right.
And they take it as, like...
Right.
All right.
And I want to... Because, you know...
Like, because I don't want them thinking that, like, I'm some... Like, anytime I say anything to an artist like that, I'm specifically trying to, like tell you, I'm so in love with what you do as a musician.
And the problem is, you and I both do that. We just gush. It's just like, I can't. It's so good.
You can't help yourself.
Yeah, everything is so good, and I literally sat there for 2 hours just looking for more. Like, where can I find more of this stuff online? Something that's different. And so that's why I'm thinking the ring will make it more clear that it's not gushing because I'm trying to sleep with you. It's that I actually do appreciate the music, which is also why on Friday I pulled out the business card, and I was going to lead with the business card just so you know, this is an official thing, and I'm not hitting on you. I am here being a professional. I'm wearing a suit because I had to go straight from work. But
I do need a podcast. Like,
we got to make some cards.
We got to make some cards.
We got to figure out the corporate structure, which is what the meeting on Friday was about. Was the first meeting for the
That'll
corporate.
be part of the meeting probably after this episode
Absolutely
too.
Right. Anyway, so I wanted to ask you one question actually.
Yes.
So you are one of the only people I know who actually works in radio or has worked in radio.
Worked in radio.
Yeah.
Yes.
Do you guys have like a list that you have to play? Like,
Definitely.
I expect you to play these things because you notice. I'd listen to Top 40 in the car only because it lets you
Top 40.
Well, no, because it lets you zone out.
I love that term.
Well, but it lets you zone out because it's just playing in the background. It's like elevator music, and I can think about everything else that I'm doing. And then I realized, like, I have been singing along with this song, and it's been 3 times in the last 2 hours.
Oh yeah. Mm-hmm. I don't know how far into it I should get, but there's contracts and money involved as to when and how many times a day certain songs get played.
So let's
say
that we had an artist we wanted to get on the radio. It's going to be like, other than maybe R&R, which I'm sure still does the contracts, but I do hear I think a more wide range of music on R&R. It's going to be that. Like, we're going to get shuffled to the bottom of the list unless it's somebody's show who happens to particularly like that person.
See, and that's what I miss, and I wish, like, there was an open forum. Like, what's great about this episode, what I like so much about it, is that we're reaching out to, like, people who are independent and are, you know, like, obviously we didn't just, like, hit up Foo Fighters or something like that. But, like,
although, Dave, if you want to come on, seriously,
Dave,
we'll do it by phone. It doesn't matter.
I will come to your house.
We will drive to your house, because I don't want to do that, because that would be what happened for the entire hour. Just like,
we're at your girl's house.
Oh my god! So tell me. Oh god, Dave Grohl. Okay, that would be it for now.
It's gonna be like the Chris Farley skit from Saturday Night Live, where he's just like, "Hey, do you remember when you were in Nirvana?" Yeah, I remember. That was awesome. What's great is that I can just, like, send a message to Hannah Miller and say, like, "Hey, can I play your song?" She's like, "Yeah, of course. Like,
now,
please do so." And I'm like,
against lawyers' advice, because I was like, "Yeah, we should really just send her something and have her sign in, send it back."
See, this is what we need. We need, like, I feel like if there was some sort of internet database of, like, totally cool artists who are down for having their songs played on podcasts where it's not for profit.
Yeah. Hey.
Like, we're not making money off of, like, Hannah Miller's appearance on here.
I'm thinking of a business idea. A common
Well, I mean, there's
Or
like pod
listen to
safe
them.
music, that sort of place.
Well,
But
no,
like,
but setting it up and paying for it with ads and just saying, if you want your music out there, here, put it here, and so people can use it.
and then
in the public
legitimately,
space.
like, I feel like what radio used to be is there wasn't any like pays for spins. Like
Right.
nobody had to get money from somebody playing it on the radio. So therefore, a DJ would get music in, obviously, and they'd listen to it and they'd be like, "Oh my god, this Don McLean guy's really awesome. I should play this song." And then it was just like an independent decision of people who ran radio stations or like had a show on the radio station that they wanted to show off cool music. And then the more RIAA got into it and ASCAP and blah blah blah, like the more
and things
it became like, we have to play Soundgarden 15 times today.
things still got played once an hour, but that's because the guy had a 4-hour show, and he's like, just in case you didn't tune in at 4, I'm going to play it again at 5. you
and
know?
commercials that were like literally like 15 seconds.
Yeah,
like, While I have you here.
Oh, yeah,
like-
oh, shit. Who was the guy
Like
who
that
does
was
the
that
talk
was
radio?
that was Don McLean you just heard. This show is brought to you by Big Bob's Flooring, and now we're going to play some Pearl Jam. Blah. Like
Yeah, and the thing, the
You did
moneyization.
that on purpose.
See, she hasn't been listening to the podcast because one of our episodes was brought to us by Big
Pearl
Bob's
Jam?
Flooring. No, by Big Bob's Flooring.
Oh.
They still haven't. They're going to write us a huge check in the
God, I
future.
hope so. York, PA. If you got to get floors done, nobody lays it like Big Bob's. Anyway, so I hate the moneyization, and the thing I liked about HFS
Monetization.
was monetization. The thing I liked about HFS is that like in the afternoon drive, it was it was a little bit top 40. Like they would play, they'd make sure they hit the big hits.
Yeah.
But you listen at 10 o'clock at night, and it's local. It's some local music. It's stuff from local music from California that I would never hear. But the DJ was out there, or somebody sent it to him, and he loved it.
Yeah.
I kind of liked. That's sort of what I liked about Noise in the Basement, though, a lot too, because local bands would like send it in, and there was sort of like a
It
gatekeeper.
still
but-
happens,
Oh, I know, but I'm not. No, I'm saying like back when I was like, I used to be all about Noise in the Basement. Like I'm not missing it, but then like just sort of like as time goes on, I'm busy. I can't,
We're
like,
Well,
adults. We're adults.
the scene is kind of
no,
suffering
because
a bit too.
no, but I would tell you like when I'm listening to you on the radio, like when you were on, I would text you. I'd be like, "Hey, I'm listening."
Right.
I'd be like, "Hey, cool, thanks."
Yeah, and I used to be like, I have you on the TV at my house. And there
that-
are 30 people here watching you.
That was a little creepy.
Was it like on the webcam or something?
Yeah, there was a webcam in the studio. So I would
Yeah.
put the
So they-
computer up to the TV and hook
Watch
it in.
me on the webcam,
Yeah.
weirdo.
Watch Shannon like just
Doing nothing.
watching
No,
Benedict
so-
Cumberbatch.
That's probably what I was doing.
But here's the
Probably.
thing, though. So and I don't want to say the station, but the station logo was in the background, and you're obviously there, and we're listening to it on the radio. And then I'm like, "Hey, she's going to give me a shout out," and then you give me a shout out. It makes me look like the big D in the room. You know what I mean? Like there's 30 people there, 25 of them are
Yeah,
women.
you should have never done
I'm
that.
glad I could help boost your ego, Rob.
Ooh. No, but no. So you're right. It's still done a little bit. I mean, DJs do play music, but
Well, I was talking about
I don't
noise in
know,
the
a little
basement.
bit.
Oh, Noise in
because
the
he
Basement.
He was talking about it in past tense.
No, but
it still exists.
No,
it does happen.
What I meant by
every week.
past tense of Noise in the Basement was like when it was like appointment
Right.
appointment listening, like
10 years ago when
right,
the
exactly.
best Baltimore was the best scene it's ever been. I
Yeah,
will say
like
that.
but you
Amazing
would
bands.
you would tune in and there would be a band that you maybe heard of in passing, or like a band that you like never heard of, but there was sort of a gatekeeper there.
Well, this is
You're
cool
like-
because this kind of ties into this next song.
Oh, cool.
Yeah.
Well, that's
is this
Because,
somebody featured at Noise in the Basement?
Well, no. Here's the thing. It also ties in with your internet thing. What you were saying, how you can message anyone. I discovered this band called City Sleeps, who the local band used to go on tour, and they found these guys in. I guess they were in Atlanta, I think, or somewhere around there, and they had a good touring relationship. Like the band from here would go play with them in their state, and then they would come here, and that's how I discovered them. And they broke up, but I stayed in touch with their guitar player from meeting him when they played here. He formed a new band called Bad Wolf, who they were in Florida at that time. Never saw them play live. But I started talking to I really liked the music, started talking to the guys on the internet, and then they broke up, and I stayed in touch with Bad Wolf's lead singer, who is the lead singer of this next band that I'm about to play. Never met the guy ever in my life, but I consider him a friend because we talk online all the time, and their music is amazing.
Well, let's hear it.
Yeah, they're called LA Wedding, and this is The Hard Way by them.
I love this song.
I love it too.
See, now I gotta ask you, where are they located now?
They're in Texas.
Okay.
Dallas, I believe.
See, it's difficult given the distance, but I've talked to Cory before about the sensation that I get when I listen to certain music.
Yeah.
And no judgments about the people that we previously played, because it happened with Hannah, but I'm hearing the other ones for the first time, other than her. So, to back up, what was it? It must have been like November, December of 2012.
Yeah.
I posted on Facebook, and I'm not saying I'm the only one. I'm not saying I'm the only one because he had a following elsewhere. But here, I was the first person who I think around here had heard of Macklemore and Ryan Lewis. So somebody from the West Coast who I know had a link on their Facebook page, and I listened to it, and I'm like, I get this tingling sensation like at the base of my skull, and I'm just like, that guy's going somewhere. Like, it was a thrift shop song, and I'm like, okay, so he's got a very catchy song. And then I look it up on YouTube, and the video is catchy too. And I'm like, okay, so got a catchy song and a great video.
Do you know how many views it was at that particular time?
Like 10,000?
2
It
views.
was like 10,000.
Just you,
Rob's
Macklemore, and Ryan Lewis.
Right.
Macklemore hipster.
It was very, very
I
low.
liked Macklemore before they were cool.
No, and see, here's the thing. So they were well known in Seattle. They were well known in San Francisco. Like, they had follow. I'm not saying that I'm the guy who did it, and I didn't do anything, so it doesn't really matter. But I sent Cory and a lot of people a message, and I'm like, listen to this guy. It's really good. And I said, by, I don't know, end of January, he's going to be in the top 40. He'll have a number one record. And lo and behold, mid-January, just after my birthday, not this most recent year, but 2013, he hit number one. And then at one time, he had 2 songs in the top 10 at the same time. It's a fluke. Fine. But February of this year, I stumbled on a video when I was in a YouTube wormhole, which is, where you just start, the video ends, you start clicking something else.
Yeah, yeah.
And then 7 hours later.
I do that with Vines a lot.
Vines
like
too,
Vine compilations. Like,
next thing you know, it's been 7 hours.
Sometimes I just write like January best Vines compilation.
Yeah.
And then you get in a wormhole of like clicking on tits eventually. It's basically how it works because they make the album artwork on YouTube. Just like some girl who's like, I'd be like, what the fuck? How'd that Vine happen? And then you click on it, and then that's not anywhere in it, and you're just like, it caught me.
So, and I will say that the art is funny you say that, because the artwork was the screen of the iPad, and once I say the person, you'll know, but the screen of the iPad with the yellow, black checkered dress. And I'm like, somebody ripped off Clueless. Like, as soon as I saw it, I thought Clueless, and I'm like, somebody ripped off Clueless. I bet that's going to be really funny. And I know Donald Faison actually still does little videos where he'll spoof Clueless. So I would click on it just for that, and I didn't even look to see who it was or anything, and it's like ba-da-dum dum dum. I'm like, oh god. So it's actually like a music thing. But Iggy Azalea. And I'm like, I watched the whole video, and I'm like, okay, so one, she's cute, and the video is really kitsch, and people will like it, especially people who are our age, which they're looking for people our age to spend money, and then they want to get the 14-year-old girls because those are the ones who get their dads to spend money. So, so then I listened to the song without the video, and I get the little tinglies in the base of my skull, and I put it out, and I'm like, yeah, guaranteed by Memorial Day, Iggy Azalea will have the #1 record in the country. And lo and behold, on Memorial Day weekend, not only does she have the #1 record in the country, but she's also on the #2 record in the country. So, or not single, #1 single, #2 single.
Yeah.
And her record is in the top 10. So, I say that to say this, that I think I have a sense about music, and I don't think I can't play music for shit. I feel horrible.
I'm not trying to shit on your tingles here.
Yeah. Go ahead, shit on my tingles.
But I do feel like we all have an innate ability to recognize talent.
Right.
When we see it. And, I think there's bands that, like, I've heard earlier than most who have done, like, remarkable... Like, I heard Aloe Black probably a lot earlier than anybody else did. I introduced him to you.
Yeah.
And then he became your ringtone.
Well, because you introduced me to him saying, I heard this song, and it reminded me of you.
Yeah.
Like, this is your theme song. But to be fair, before it was on the radio. It wasn't playing top 40
It wasn't playing on the radio, and then all of a sudden it's like, the NFL draft is playing, and like the Super Bowl is like playing it as like the intro into the...
Yeah.
Like, it's everywhere. And then, the same thing happens with... So I told you guys this story before we started, so I gotta share this one. In elementary school, there was this kid, Matt, and everybody in class was sort of like pitting us against each other with whatever we came in with, like who's cooler.
Right.
So like it would be like, like, oh, Cory got new shoes. Oh, they're Nikes. Nikes are pretty cool. Oh, Matt, you got new shoes too? Adidas are way cooler than Nikes. Like that was the thing. And every single day was something new. Like, oh, you're wearing a polo shirt. Oh, that's pretty good. Oh, Matt's wearing a t-shirt. T-shirts are way cooler. Like they'd be stretching sometimes, but we the new Walkman came out, the tape Walkman.
For people who are unfamiliar, a Walkman
those who are not old enough, a Walkman was a personal tape player.
Yeah, just slightly larger than the tape itself, and you would click it in, and you'd close the thing, and there was something satisfying about that.
Snap.
That mechanical sound.
Yeah, and
I actually didn't hate tapes. Like I liked that back in the day.
And yet someday, and I saw this on Facebook a lot, but someday people are not going to know why you would use a pencil. And how a pencil is involved in listening to music. Yeah. When it gets all wrapped up and you got to like pull it out and with the pencil. Yeah. So anyway,
I like that sound of it. Like it's real authentic sounding.
I'm the Michael Winslow of the
podcast. Oh my God, is that a bird?
Sorry. So anyway,
but so I came in. And I had my Walkman and my headphones, which back in the day weren't like these things, but like basically two pieces of foam that like laid upon your ear. Yeah. And like if you listen to anything louder than like if you had a 1 to 10 scale volume knob, like if you listen to anything higher than a 3, then everybody else around you could hear exactly what you were listening to.
And the parents yell at you.
Yeah, my dad would be like, "You're gonna lose your hearing," and then but I was walking into school listening to my Walkman, and the kids, the judge, the Supreme Court of elementary school judgment, was standing there by my locker where I was putting my shit away. And I go, "Cory, what are you listening to?" I'd be like, "Oh, it's this album I just found out about. It's Dookie by Green Day." And they're like, "Oh, Green Day's all right. They're pretty cool, I guess." And then Matt walks in with his glasses and short shorts.
Well, it was 1989, 1990.
Yeah, something like that.
I know.
That was the look back in the day.
Yeah.
And he has his Walkman on. Same foam on the ear look that made everyone look really cool. This is back before Beats made headphones cool again.
Right. And they didn't even have these earbud designs.
Yeah,
that's like a newfangled thing.
You had to break your headphones and shove them in your ears back in the day. No, but he's listening to his Walkman, and the same jury approaches, "Matt, what are you listening to?" And he responds very fervently, "I'm listening to Ace of Base." And they all go, "Oh, Ace of Base is so much cooler than Green Day. Ace of Base is the best." I'm like, you guys are fucking insane. Green Day will be forever. Ace of Base, nobody's gonna know fucking Ace of Base when we're grown up. Like that's gonna be old news. Green Day will be around forever. And lo and behold, every single year, Green Day is doing something, whether or not you like it or not. And Ace of Base is mopping floors back in
rock opera,
Sweden or whatever.
Yeah, they're probably not even making music anymore. Although I feel like you could ride that.
They
train.
didn't see the sign.
Yeah, you could ride that train forever, though. There's one of the guys from Ace of Base is in a cover band of Ace of Base in Sweden right now. That's what he does for a living.
I feel like they wrote the same song over and over again.
They did write the.
It was always awesome. But
there was
it was the
guy,
same song.
The guy who wrote one of their songs, I think it was them, because I was listening to reading a story about him. He's produced like pretty much every single top 40 hit for the last like
Butch Walker.
30 years.
Butch Walker?
I think so.
He wasn't in Ace of Base.
No, not in Ace of Base. Like
two separate stories.
The guy who wrote the songs for Ace of Base.
Oh, yeah, probably wasn't Butch Walker.
But he also like wrote songs for like, you know, fucking name somebody who's, you know, not very good.
Rihanna.
Probably wrote for her. Like Britney Spears, Katy Perry.
Kesha wrote for Rihanna.
Justin Bieber, all of them.
Yeah.
All those girls.
Yeah.
What was their name? Rebecca Black.
No, Rebecca Black. That's something that only a 13-year-old girl could write. Like
Jesus.
But
Fun.
Can we all agree that autotune is like going to be the death of us all?
Yeah.
Because
the death of music, anyway.
I feel like back in the day, like you had to, like there was definitely like untalented bands out there, but like you know they would pretty much sort themselves out pretty quick.
Right.
Like maybe you have like one song where it's just like you know like, you know you listen to Love Shack and you're just like okay what else do you have B-52s? It's like Love Shack.
Yeah. Like, have you seen our greatest hit? Love Shack.
Just Love Shack 19 different times.
Yeah.
But then you're like, all right, well, see you later, B-52s. Thanks for coming by. You know, and then
Rock
the band's
Lobster.
Rock Lobster. there was like the bands that like could maintain, like had to have like the talent.
Beatles.
Like you could, yeah. You know, the Beatles just got by on a wing and a prayer. But you know, you had to be like a legitimately talented band to like hang around.
Oh, yeah.
Like a lengthy career was not a fluke.
Yep. Now all you need is money and the notion that you want to be a singer.
Yeah, and no self-respect.
Yep. That's
When
right.
Basically,
I listen to the Kane Show every morning, and the producer on there, Eric, can't sing, can't carry a tune in a bucket. But they showed how auto-tune allows you to like, even he sounds decent when you auto-tune it.
The worst is like if you're. I feel like everybody to an extent is auto-tune these days.
Yeah,
and like if you really listen for it, you can hear it. Like you know, and you know, there's people who can sing. Like I feel like I was listening to like. Somebody was talking about examples of autotune, and they played like something from like the Dixie Chicks, who like prior to autotune becoming a thing, could sing, and you could tell they could sing, and then they were just like sort of like tweaking them just to like, so they didn't have to sit in the recording studio for 19 hours recording the same song over and over again. They could get it close enough
and fix it,
and then
we'll get it in post.
Yeah, just fix it up a little bit and clean it up, and now your recording time goes from 19 hours to like 9 hours, and then.
Well, and then you have like when it first came out, it was Cher who had that song, but it was intentionally uptuned, so it sounded weird.
So it sounded robotic.
Then Little John heard it, and now he fully admits, like, I would not have a career without autotune. Like the whole point of it, T-Pain, yeah.
But that's the. I feel like that's the differentiator. Mm-hmm. Like if I listen to you and can tell that you can like really sing.
Right.
And like this auto-tune is either just like for an effect or, you know, like you're trying to do that whole Peter Gabriel like Fox thing. Like, okay, fine. Like that's fine, whatever you want to do. But I mean, like if I can tell that you can't sing. Like,
but we were talking about Katy Perry earlier.
Yeah.
Katy Perry sings really well, but her
you know
albums
who
are
else?
auto-tuned.
You know who else sings really fucking well? I'm gonna have to find this and put it in the show notes. Mm-hmm. But Kesha, before she was,
Kesha.
you know, a fucking whore, was
first of all now. I don't want to say that she's a whore. She's certainly a drug addict, so there's that.
I think
but
she would say that she's a whore.
Yeah,
Okay,
she probably
because some of her
She's
songs
probably
actually.
proud of it.
Yeah, I mean, it sells them albums if you think you can sleep with Kesha at the end of it. I get crabs looking at her, though, so...
That's not why
not
you have
really.
crabs. That's not why you have crabs.
No, but I mean, like, I heard a song, like, somebody posted it, like, you won't ever believe what Kesha sounded like before she was famous. And, like, I listened to it, and it was like a singer-songwriter track, and it was her and a microphone, like, you know, probably in her bedroom with, like, a MacBook. And it was phenomenal. Not phenomenal, but, like, good.
It's good.
Good. Like, and it was just like, Jesus Christ, Kesha is actually kind of good.
Well, here's the thing. So she was on
And
an
then-
05 episode of The Simple Life with Paris Hilton and Nicole Richie. And sorry.
Why do you know?
I know my Kesha history.
You don't
So
even...
anyway.
Hold on. No, fuck this. Hold on. Not only... When I want to hide something... When I want to hide something, I usually babble about it a bit first. I was like, oh, God, there was a show. God, what was it called? Who was that? Who was the socialite girl?
Rob's like,
Right.
let
Oh,
me,
Paris Hilton.
let
And she
me
was on
tell
that
you-
show with who?
Let
And
me
it's
tell
just
you
like-
about Kesha on The Simple
First of all,
Life.
on the
You
Simple
ever
Life.
say
the
something that you just
episode-
wish you could stuff right back in? Like, as soon as it's out, you're like, oh, shit, I said
The
that.
episode
Okay.
in 2005, I
Yeah.
believe it was season 3, episode
3,
4, called I Met Kesha.
So anyway, before she was Kesha.
It was produced by Carol D. LaGuardia.
Anyway, so her mom was a songwriter who never made it as a singer. Kesha's mom, she didn't have what it took to be a singer, but she was a songwriter. So Kesha,
Judging by Kesha, she didn't have what it takes to be a songwriter either.
so Kesha was actually a decent performer, and her
Right.
intention was to be a singer-songwriter. And so she's on The Simple Life, and then she goes out to LA, and she wants to do the thing, and she just the market's not there for it. In like 06, 07, the market's not there to support a singer-songwriter. So then she's on the background of a Paris Hilton album, which she got because she met Paris during the show, and I guess she had that realization that like you know, you can. This is how you make money now. And so the whole thing, the whole point is that she actually was writing for 2 different genres. She was writing for a singer-songwriter, and it just wasn't taking off. And then she wrote a song for, you know, Lady Gaga. I guess not, probably Nicki Minaj or somebody like that. And they were like, "This is a great song."
I just because you said Lady Gaga out loud because I'm pretty tired of talking about Kesha.
But
I will.
I am in love. with Kesha.
I will put aside that clip of you talking about The Simple Life and broadcast it all over the internet. The Lady Gaga. I maintain.
Stephanie Germanotta.
Yeah, whatever.
She was from. She was in an episode of season 6 of Sopranos. Yeah, with Jamie Lynn Ziegler. She was a friend of Jamie Lynn Ziegler's. They were in a high school together. They were sitting in the bleachers.
Okay.
At the high
Well,
school.
I maintain that when,
Originally a
what was
member of the
what was
Stephanie
the
G
song? What was the song that she recorded like the gay rights anthem?
Born This Way.
Born This Way.
Yeah.
I maintain that song was written by the record label. And not necessarily written by the record label, like a bunch of men in suits were just like, oh, it was just born this way. Like, wrote it out for her.
Yeah.
But they told somebody to write that song to put on the album, and we're going to make that, like, you know, the name of the album. We're going to make it the first single and every single thing like that because Lady Gaga is not attractive enough for men to want to fuck. So, instead, they, like, promote her to gay men who don't care what she looks like.
Yeah.
And, you know, so now they got... Because you need to have a certain aspect of both sides. You can't be, like, 100% women or, like, 100% men because then you don't move albums. You got to, like, go across the aisle a little bit.
Yeah.
So they take a little bit of the gay men over to the women aisle. Then they're okay. But I said I was out in L.A. and like somebody
comments made by Cory Baker are his and his alone. They don't represent
somebody
the position of the anthem of Robert G.
Somebody overheard. I'm not going to get into the details of this, but I was talking to somebody who would be familiar with this sort of happening, and I said that thing to him, and he said, "You're not that far off."
Yeah.
So I'm almost positive that she wrote a gay rights anthem because no man would fuck her. Like.
Again, the comments of Cory Baker is in his line. They don't represent our interest or the opinions of the Anthem or Robert Cheek or Shannon at all. Just so it's clear. All complaints should go to Cory Baker, Cory@theanthem.com. But no, so I recognize that. And you brought up another point that I want to touch on, which is that somebody else wrote the song for her.
Right.
Now, Freddie Mercury makes the anthem of our time.
We Are the Champions.
We Are the Champions.
Killer Queen.
We Are the Champions. And if you look onto the booklet, which we don't do anymore because it's all electronic, it has written by Freddie Mercury, produced by Freddie Mercury. Girls Run the World by Beyonce.
Yeah.
6 writers, 7 producers.
Yeah.
And it's Who Runs the World? Girls. Like 90 times.
Yeah.
And it took 6 writers and 7 producers to make that.
I think the album art for this episode is going to be there was a meme with Rihanna where it's just like the first part of it is her saying like, I get really into the music. Like sometimes I have to walk away because the lyrics I write are so real and they hurt me inside. And then like the next one was just like, yeah, bitch girl, yeah, bitch girl, yeah, bitch girl.
Oh God!
And I'm like,
downfall of Western civilization.
No.
I mean, that's we're not making good music anymore, and people can't make good music. And I want to make good music.
Here's the cool thing though about music, just in general. Mm-hmm. And I feel like it's the easiest art to do this for. Because movies, you know, like obviously take a while to like. Yeah. If I tell you to watch a movie, you have to take out some time of your day.
Right.
Like so far, we've played 4
songs.
4 songs.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And we've listened to like 30, 40 seconds of each one. Mm-hmm. But I feel like it's enough that people could hear it and go like, "Oh man, that one is really great. I want to hear it some more." Mm-hmm. And look it up, invest the time. Like,
but they could listen to it in their car too.
I was over at Erin's place. And her and her brother are playing some quiz game.
Is it the head thing that she plays all the time?
No, it's another quiz game, like an actual
called? Heads up.
Heads up. That's how my phone got broken, by the way. I just have to. It was. I was visiting a friend in Virginia, and we were out at a bar, and one of his friends was there, and we started playing the game, and she was quite intoxicated.
Mm-hmm. Quite.
And I go to the bathroom. They were still playing. I left my phone, and as I'm walking to the bathroom, in my mind, I'm like, I just left my phone out there with them. It'll be okay. And I come back, and she's standing in the doorway looking at me with these puppy dog eyes saying, I'm really, really sorry. I'm really, really sorry. I'm going to buy you a shot. And I said, you just broke my phone, didn't you? She said, yep. I've never seen a screen more cracked ever in my life.
Well, I feel like the last 10 times I've seen Erin, at some point in the evening, she's
breaks out.
Yeah. She starts playing
anyway, getting back on topic though, they were playing some quiz game, her and her brother. Mm-hmm. And the question was like, who's the lead singer of Queen? And they had like a list, and like he got it wrong. And I was just like, I yelled through the wall. It was just like, do you know who Freddie Mercury is? And he's like, what? I'm like, and I march over into his room. I'm like, do you know who Freddie Mercury is? And he's just like, no. I'm like, pull up fucking Queen on YouTube. Get on YouTube right now.
Yeah, but then I made him like search fucking Queen, because that's gonna be a whole different list.
Just all the corgis looking up at the bed, like, what are you doing to Mother?
Oh my God.
And you have a corgi.
Well, my sister does.
Yeah, well, my train of thought is that, and then what you say, and then your impression, and then Trooper in your room, like, what are you doing?
Or that line from Naked Gun where it's just like, how about that Queen, ladies and gentlemen?
Anyway,
back on track. I ran into Gene's room, and I made him listen to Queen. And I was just like, look how fucking talented he is. Like, nobody's like that. Like,
yeah,
he listens to his electronic music with the bass that shakes the whole house. But I'm just like, this Queen is essence. Like, it's...
And people, they do sampling of Queen in EDM.
Oh, I'm sure.
It's in EDM
You just get the... Right. Over and over again, and then you're you're good enough.
You just made an EDM hit. That's it, right there.
Yeah.
That's going to be top the charts next month. I got the tingles. That's it.
Oh man, it was just a couple seconds of it, but I already felt it.
I already knew it was going to be a hit.
I'd like to be in the world one day, because it will happen. Where it's just like the sort of like a offshoot of the Blue Oyster Cult behind the music on SNL, where it's just like he plays the cowbell and nothing else. Like,
did you see the drum off?
Yeah. Oh, of course I saw the fucking drum off. I couldn't. I was just
that
like,
was amazing.
I thought Will Ferrell was hilarious in that whole bit. Like, especially where it's just like, it's a charity for we give musical instruments to kids and then we take them away.
Am I the only one who's over Will Ferrell? I'm over Will Ferrell now.
No, I like Will Ferrell. It's fine.
I maxed out on him. I'm growing up. He's not growing up. I think that's what it comes down to. Is I saw Frank the Tank when I was in college, and I was with it. And I'm just like, Anchorman 2 was fine.
No, but I mean, like,
fine,
I think that there's layers of Will Ferrell that most people don't know. No, why are we fucking talking about Will Ferrell?
You just felt like you needed to defend Will Ferrell.
No, but I mean, like, have you saw the movie
Than
Stranger Than Fiction? Like, he was phenomenal in that. It was a nice drama role. Like,
yeah, and then he immediately went back and did Anchorman 2, and he did a drum off with a dude who plays drums and looks kind of like him. So
if you're funny,
Looks a lot like him.
yeah, a lot like confuse them on the street. I'm sure all the time.
like I did
Chad
for Ryan.
Smith probably gets like Will Ferrell all the time on the street.
Yeah.
You think he gets any Will Ferrell action? Is there any Will Ferrell action?
I'm sure there's somebody.
Some girl's like, oh my god, Will.
No, if you're famous enough that like everyone knows your name,
Right.
there
There's
has
somebody.
to be.
Yeah.
I think it was like the Kevin Smith quote, like, you know, like, everyone wants to shit on Battlefield Earth, but out there somewhere, that's somebody's favorite movie.
Right, yeah.
Like, somebody fucking loves Battlefield Earth like you'll never ever comprehend. And I'm sure there's somebody out there who's just like all about Will Ferrell.
Fair enough.
And like anytime he's like, you know, they're just like, oh man, if I could just meet Will Ferrell, if I could just touch his face, like,
I would totally put out for Will Ferrell.
I'd totally put out for Will Ferrell. Like, oh man, the things I do to Will Ferrell.
That means that there's a woman somewhere who has Will Ferrell on her exception list. Like her one hall pass list is Will Ferrell.
I love that idea too. Not having Will Ferrell be the guy, but no. Just the exception list. I think it's what keeps relationships going.
Here's my argument against it.
The idea that
my argument against it is I fully expect to be famous enough to meet these people at some point. You know, like exes that I've had before have been like, oh, well, you know, Brad Pitt's on my exception list. I'm like, no. Because I don't want us to be walking through a party in 15 years and step into a bedroom and Brad Pitt and you are in there and she's just like, exceptions list. Because let's be honest, even though a girl is on my exceptions list, doesn't mean I'm going to actually be able to close that deal. So,
well, no, because here's the thing too, though. Here's the fucked up thing about male exception list to female exception list.
Yeah,
like I feel like men should get two.
Yeah, at least
two.
Yeah,
for every one that the woman gets.
Right.
Just because, like, if some. Hold on, no. If some male celebrity is like, so Shannon and some boyfriend in the future, or Shannon and some husband in the future, right?
Yeah.
Like Benedict Cumberbatch would be on your list.
Yes.
Like the like A-OK cheat list. Like,
by the way, have you seen the new episodes of Sherlock?
Yes.
Okay, good. I was going to
just
ruin
lots of yes. We're talking about Benedict, so she's all about yes right now. But like, getting Benedict Cumberbatch into bed is probably a lot easier than getting. I don't know, fucking Katy Perry.
I was going to say, why did Maya Rudolph just pop in my head? I was
no,
like,
but
Maya Rudolph, wait, no.
No, but I mean, like, somebody could be, like, men will have sex in the day. Like,
oh, yeah.
Right there, like, and it's a lot more frequent than the women type.
He's a proper gentleman, though. So
well, I mean, the problem with
more difficult.
The problem with you putting Benedict Cumberbatch on your list is that he would really rather be on my list, given his proclivities, you know. What I'm saying by that,
shut up, Rob.
What I'm saying by that is that I don't believe that he is interested in the fair
I like
sex.
how Shannon just like breaks her neck to look at Rob.
My
You're
assistant,
dumb.
my assistant Christine.
You shut your whore mouth.
Christine is all about Benedict Cumberbatch as well, and every time she brings him up, I'm like, you know, he's like 35, 40 years old. He lives with his mom. She doesn't live with him. He lives with her. What does that tell you
How do
about
you
him?
know that? You don't.
Well, she told me that.
You don't
Because
know.
Rob's
You just
looking
know
at
him.
Rob's looking at shirtless pictures of Benedict Cumberbatch all night.
He is such a nice boy. He lives with his mother.
Eventually, he stumbles upon information about him. He's like, "Oh, I didn't know he lived with his mom."
I guess half of the things I know are
Back
from
to the
just
pictures.
Back to the pictures. Oh God, look at those cheekbones.
who's this whore that he went to a movie premiere with? Oh, it's his mom. Okay.
If only me and Benedict Cumberbatch could be together, we'd have those cheekbones and these dimples, and it'd be just like the perfect face.
Oh, first of all, these dimples go with anybody. It doesn't matter who. Oh,
We are
gosh.
so far from talking
Yeah, I know.
about music right now. It's ridiculous.
We
let's
do
play
that.
let's play some music. Let's play some music. Who do we have up next?
This is a little band called Almost Kings.
Before you play it, though,
Yes.
I want Cory to turn it up, and I want you to hit the post, which we were talking about earlier. Do you
Okay.
know it well enough that you can hit the post?
Yeah.
Okay, good.
Okay.
This is going to be fun for everybody watching at home.
I might not hit it exactly, but
Get her
we'll
close.
see.
Get her close.
Okay.
It's going to be fun.
All right. Okay. So this is good friends of mine, and a little band called Almost Kings. They're out of Atlanta, Georgia, and I like them a lot. You should too.
I feel like this last part is just stumbling into the lyric.
They're a great band.
We're still building towards the post. It
Yeah.
started too early.
Yeah. Well, you'll find out.
Atlanta, Georgia's
now.
own.
Without testing grounds, and now we can't be found. Put shadows pull me down, but they know they'll never take me. I'm already found. Yeah, I got one life to live for. Shadows pull me down, but they know they'll never take me. I'm already found. Yeah, I got one life to live for. I got one life to live for.
I really dig this band.
Yeah, they're awesome. And their lead singer looks just like Eminem. He's a white rapper who looks like Eminem.
Oh, Rob.
Your
It
finger.
wasn't even my own. It wasn't my own mic that time.
What happened?
I hit your post, and then that's why we need to get those isolation things that we saw at Guitar Center. So it isolates the mic from it. We need to buy the $50 isolation thing that isolates the $10 mic from the $10 mic stand.
I feel like Rob is just going to spend a shit ton of money at Guitar Center. And
Yes,
just be like, hey, I bought things for the podcast.
This is where you come in. I come in when you're like, we could probably do it for like, I don't know, like $50. 50,000. What are you doing? 50,000. Like $50. Really, it's fine.
Yeah.
That's where I come in. You come in when I step into Guitar Center. I'm like, okay, so we just got a loan for $50,000 to set up a studio. I want you to find me $50,000 worth of things and put them in this basket. Just find the coolest things that you have and put them in this basket. And
Well,
we're
see,
gonna go with them.
the first thing I would do if somebody gave me like a $50,000 budget for a studio is soundproofing.
Okay.
Because that's number one.
that
Like,
doesn't occur to Rob. Rob
no,
thinks,
because
let's get
Rob is all
$1,000
about
mic.
like, oh, this microphone costs $19,000. Like, no. This microphone costs $19, and it works for podcasting purposes.
Sure.
Fine. Like,
I like nice
would
things.
would a microphone that costs 10 times as much sound 10 times better? No. Would it be nicer than this one? Yes. Is it worth it? No.
Okay.
I don't know.
Oh! I'm sorry. What now?
I mean, for podcast purposes, I agree with Cory.
So you don't
But
think that
if
we
you're-
we need a Newman
No,
CX1 microphone?
I'm saying if Rob talked Iggy Azalea into being an artist
That would not be the conversation I had
on
with
the,
Iggy
on
Azalea.
the
If I was
and
talking her
and she
into
talked
something,
and she talked, if Rob talked her into a label contract, I would not bring her here with these microphones and this soundboard and this Tascam and be like, all right, let's get this new album rolling. Like, this would not be what I would do. But if you said, hey, we're building a studio and I have $50,000, where are we putting the money?
Yeah.
Soundproofing.
okay.
Because there are way too many albums that I've heard in my life where people recorded it in a space like this
Yeah.
with fucking washer and dryer that's bouncing sound back at you,
Right.
and a refrigerator that's running and making little drip sounds, and a computer in the background that has the fan whirling. And
I'm just saying, listen, there are a lot of things about this room that would be similar if I convinced Iggy Azalea to do something. The mics wouldn't be here. The camera still would. There would be recording equipment on, but it wouldn't be a studio. We wouldn't be making an album. So I have a huge crush on her. A huge inappropriate crush.
Inappropriate, you say, really?
Yeah,
I didn't,
inappropriate.
Well, she probably lives with her mom.
Well, I hope so.
because that's what lesbians
And she's
do.
gay.
Well, listen, I'm just saying, I hope she does, because I got a 2-bedroom apartment in gorgeous Denton, Maryland. So if you need a place to stay, you let me know. You can come crash anytime.
Yeah, because Denton's like the hot spot of it.
It's the hot spot of the world. What are you talking about?
I've been just working so hard on my music. I need a place where I can relax. I don't know. Am I doing Iggy Azalea's voice?
Not
at all?
even close. She's Australian.
Oh,
And that
she's
was like a whole...
She's Australian?
Yeah,
Okay,
yeah.
let me give this a whirl.
It shouldn't sound Australian.
Let me give an Australian girl
Oh,
sound.
jeez. Okay.
The
The thoughts of Cory Baker is...
I don't know. I just need... Fuck it, I'll just do like Cockney British. I just need to get away for a little while. Brain, maybe. Maybe I'll go... It's either Cancun or maybe I'll go to Denton, Maryland. I hear the pub's really nice.
That was the only thing that even sounded remotely Australian. The end.
The pub is really nice.
Yes, there you go. Oh my god.
It's like you had like a speech impediment.
That's what it is. Oh my god, that was horrible.
I was basically just doing Pinky in the Brain.
This is why you are behind the camera and not in front of it. Jeez.
Oh, sir. I made you all laugh. Doesn't that count for anything?
Oh, it does. Oh, God. All right, now.
We were talking about music at some point, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
We talked a lot about music. Shoot. Now I forgot what I was going to say. Something about the local scene. I'm exhausted all of a sudden. I don't know why. This is like my favorite hour of the week is like doing this. And then at the end, it's like I'm at the end of the 12th round of the championship bout. And
Yeah.
just can't keep my hands up. And it's
Getting blasted in the face by another man.
You know, the jokes, you got jokes. I understand that. But no, this is what I was going to say. One thing I learned at the thing that we went to on Friday is that instead of thinking of things like a Maryland scene, people think of it very much like a city to city scene. And I don't understand that. But earlier Shannon was talking about the Baltimore scene, but really what you mean is the Maryland scene. Good Charlotte is not a Baltimore band.
They're from PG County.
Yeah, I was going to say they're probably as far as from Baltimore as you can get. But when we were at the Annapolis...
Well, not far. Waldorf is still... Like, if you needed to walk from Baltimore to Waldorf, you could.
What?
No, I'm saying...
It's a long walk.
It's a long walk, but it's not like... If I said, like, walk to Reno...
I just meant in Maryland. I didn't mean in... Baltimore is Maryland proper. Yeah, the whole state would be... Oh, jeez, I'm so exhausted.
I said Baltimore because Baltimore is...
Where the clubs were.
Yeah.
Right.
Where they play.
But...
Not where they're from.
No, but... So we went to a...
No, but there's also a definite, like... with the where they played aspect of it. Like, where... You see Good Charlotte a lot here more. You see them in Baltimore clubs a lot more than you see them in D.C. club.
Right. And no, but my point
you'd
was...
see them in the 930 club, but you wouldn't see them... You would see them at the Wrecker and the Auto Bar and all these other places, like, a lot more frequently.
The thing we went to on Friday was very...
You see them wearing Oriole gear, not national gear.
Right. Well, now they're wearing all black and
Ryan
makeup.
Ripken on the Nationals.
He's
Who's not related to...
No, he
them.
is
He's
really...
Cal
Is he?
Ripken's son.
He's on the Nationals?
Yeah.
The fuck? Come
No.
on, man.
No, hold on.
Frozen
Everybody. No, I'm not going to mute you. Ryan Ripken got drafted by the Nationals. He has not signed with the Nationals. He probably won't sign with the Nationals because just last year he was drafted by the Orioles, and then he's done 1 year of college. So he's probably going to finish his degree,
Okay.
All right.
or
I
at
feel
least
like
get
Dad would say
reasonably
that.
close.
Dad would tell him to do that,
Yeah.
probably.
Yeah, he's not. No offense to Ryan Ripken, but
He's not Cal.
You're not. Well, you're not ready yet.
Okay.
I'm not trying to be. You could very well be ready someday, but I'd like to see a little bit more seasoning.
Yeah.
And then the Orioles will draft him in the first round.
Right.
When he's ready to be a
Yeah,
superstar.
Back to my point.
Sorry, Rob.
My
I didn't
point is
mean
this.
to interrupt your riveting story.
Is that we went to an event. We went to an event in a different city in Maryland.
Sorry, guys, I'm just tired.
We went to an event in another city in Maryland, and it was very that city centric. And I've been to events in Salisbury as well, and they were very Salisbury centric. Cambridge is the same way. And I'm like trying to figure out why that is. Like getting a... Are you going to sneeze? Hippopotamus! Oh, I stole it! Yes!
What?
I just enjoy doing that to people. Stealing the sneeze back. If you think about the word hippopotamus, you can't sneeze. Anyway, it doesn't matter. So,
this is going to make it more violent and uncontrolled. Like, at that point, I was just, like, trying to get away from the microphone. So I was turning this way, and I was all ready to, like collapse it.
Convulsing.
Yeah, like, you know, sneeze in my throat and, like, go like this. But, like, now I'm just going to randomly, like, at some point do like, all over.
Right on Shannon?
Yeah.
Oh.
Anyway, so if you go to events in like Ocean City's an outlier because during the summer they play everybody, but
Nobody lives there.
Salisbury plays a lot of Salisbury music, and you won't really hear any Baltimore bands playing in Salisbury. Cambridge is the same way. They play Cambridge music, 447, which is a great place, by the way, in Cambridge. You should go there. They have great bands. They play a lot of local Dorchester, Talbot County people, but you won't necessarily see anybody from Salisbury, and you certainly won't see anybody from the Western Shore, with the exceptions, of course. If you go to Annapolis, you hear a lot of Annapolis stuff, and they're very Annapolis-centric, and they say that it's just about Annapolis. And Baltimore, I think, is the outlier, like Ocean City. Like, people come here because that's where the one good club to see the music is. And I just don't understand why divide up? Why divide up like that? Why isn't it a Maryland music scene rather than
because you have enough good music to spread the...
Yeah, well, I was saying 10 years ago, back when, you know, Lennox was a big local band. They were from Ocean City. They would come down every weekend and play Baltimore. So
they wanted to go the opposite way of the traffic. We're going to go up to Baltimore on the weekends and come back down.
You know, so... I mean, I don't think it wasn't like that then.
Yeah, but I mean, it's not like the Sharks and the Jets either.
No, I feel like
it is. No, yeah. It's not. It's not like...
Yeah, listen,
it's not like we're in Annapolis and you're Salisbury and I'm going to knife you in the corner. Like,
I had a conversation with one of the people at the
event. Down with Salisbury!
Well, I had a conversation with one of the people at the event, and they were very strict about, this is the zone that we will accept people from. And if you lived in Easton or if you lived in Frederick, you can't come to our thing. It's for our local people only. And I don't get that. I don't understand why. Because there's good music everywhere. Why couldn't somebody come across and play your thing?
I know a couple Annapolis bands who play in Baltimore all the time too. It's not. I don't see what you're talking about. Maybe
I don't think
because
it's the band.
I'm from.
Well, I don't think it's the bands. I think it's the places that say that. Like, we want to enhance our local music scene. And when I think about local music, I think Maryland bands. But I think the places themselves are seeing it local music in a different light. They're saying Salisbury is our local music scene, not Maryland.
I don't think anybody really has the place to, like, say we're only accepting Annapolis bands because...
No, they do.
Oh, I know, but I'm saying, like, that's a horrible strategy just because...
Yeah.
You're just going to play the same 5 Annapolis bands over and over again.
Well, no, everybody's got a band in their garage. It doesn't mean there's no elimination of the bad music. That's the problem.
No, it's just no gatekeeper.
Well, again, yeah, if you're playing, if everybody around and you play the...
Well, if it's pay to play, then I guess it's
all
the same to them.
Yeah, they don't really care either way. You bring out the same 20 people, you still have to buy the 100 tickets, and you just lose money. Yeah. So, and again, everything that's wrong with everything. But again, when we buy the what's the name of the theater?
The Mayfair.
The Mayfair. And yeah, we do our local music. So my whole point is I don't want it to be like that. There's no pay to play at the Mayfair in 15
just play.
years. Just play. And if you show up on a random Tuesday and, you know, Cory's in his underwear watching something on Netflix
on the big
screen. Yeah. And he's like, oh, you know, I'm set up. I'll just turn this off. Go ahead, just play. You got people coming? Yeah, send it on Facebook. We'll just do a show. It's fine.
Here, I'll just tweet about it real quick.
Yeah. And Cory tweets and 6 million people show up. All 600,000 people in the Baltimore area are like, let's get to the Mayfair.
God, I hope I never like. I would like to have like a more ravenous Twitter following, I guess.
Yeah.
But at the same time, I also like. You said something on Facebook the other day about like, what was it? Fucking something about women.
Oh God, but here's the thing.
It was the Adam Carolla quote from the podcast
yes.
about like, like when men turn 40, they have like the fresh new car and their life is better, and like when women turn 40, like
no, it's comparing life at 25 to life at 40. And the 25 men have the beater that they got right after college, and at 40 they have the really nice car. And he's like, you can compare that to the number of drinks that a woman gets at 25 versus the number of free drinks that a woman gets at 40. And his whole point was to this guy who had been cheated on and broken up with by his fiance is that every day your stock is growing and every day her stock is going down. And if she doesn't lock something in soon, she's going to reach that point where it's not going to happen. Now, I don't share the sentiment.
I saw like when you posted it.
Oh, yeah.
And it was like, like I think I was like one of the first like 3 likes on it or something like that.
Yeah.
But then later when I like was just like cruising Facebook, like, hey, what's happening on Facebook today? There was like 975 comments and about women going like, how dare you?
And I don't share the sentiment at all.
I'm 75 years old and I've never gotten as many drinks as...
Yeah, I don't share the sentiment. But
Get off my Facebook, Nana.
I say things to cause a discussion, and I want people to discuss. And when I hear something and I'm like, oh, that would be a good conversation to have with people, that's what I post on there. Now, back to Twitter, which is I would love to be able to just say, we are going to do a guerrilla show at the corner of
I'd love to do that.
Charles
I'd love that
and Baltimore.
Part.
And
I'd love
15 minutes,
said, like,
get there.
Hey, everybody come by tonight. We're going to be watching whatever together.
Yeah.
We're going to be watching a whole bunch of cool short films from people that I just talked to.
Yes.
Like, and, 1,000 people show up. That would be great.
Right.
But I feel like with that responsibility also comes the, like,
where
you tweet something like, like, I feel like going to bed. And then, like, you just get, like, maniac people from the pajama people coming out of nowhere being like, shouldn't you be working? Like,
see, no, but I would
fuck
love
you,
that.
right, boy?
I would love that. Like, I would love to be like 10 o'clock and be like, I guess I don't have anything to do. I guess I'll go to bed. And then I start getting the retweets and the response is like, you haven't put out a new book in 4 months. Don't you think you should get to work somewhere? Yeah. Like, okay, you're right. I absolutely should.
Didn't you just finish editing a new short 3 days ago? Shouldn't you be going on the next one already?
And that's, we were talking about that. Being driven is, we are trying to, not actively, but we are eliminating people from our lives that are not as driven as us. And it's the natural order of things that either you drive forward or you fall back. And I don't want to be weighed down by people who aren't driving forward anymore.
Right.
So I want that. I want the person who's like, do you really need a day off? Yeah, go ahead. Let's work on the next thing. We got more stuff coming up. Let's do that. And I want you to do that to me. I'm going to do that to you. In fact, sitting on that park bench was, so what are we doing next?
Yeah.
What's the next thing what are we shooting?
Working on that short on the park bench was really nice, though. I like that.
Oh, God. We should just do that all the time.
Yeah. Just take a walk and then sit on a bench.
This is why I need to move to Baltimore, so we can do that all the time. If somebody can give me a job up here, that'd be great.
Well, if anybody wants to assail any of us on Twitter, you can reach me at the Anthem, and that's also the same on Facebook, on Google+, on YouTube, on Vimeo. I did it that way so it'd be easy to remember. And then otheanthem.com or Cory at otheanthem.com or the listener line, which has been quiet. We should get some. You know what? Here's the one.
Okay.
If you, Johnny Q listener, or Jane Q listener, knows a band, like maybe like your neighbors,
yeah,
and they're pretty rad, and you can get them to agree to let us play music on the podcast.
That's the most important part.
Like, yeah, just somebody
I want to hear great bands, but if I can't play them on here, then it doesn't really help.
Yeah, like don't send us, like, oh, I really like this song by whoever. I really like this Rihanna song.
Yeah.
Like, no, I can't play Rihanna.
Sorry. Yeah.
But if your next door neighbor has a band and he's just like, oh, man, I'd love it for it to be on a podcast. That would be my dream come true. Like, there you go. Blammo.
I think we're going to start
doing
soundboard
and everything.
I want to start doing it's soundboard. The high quality soundboard. Yeah. I want to start doing that. I mean, I think we should play music every time.
Yeah. So call up the listener line and say, I got a band. You should listen to it. 443-219-7595.
One more time. What was that?
443-219-7595.
Right. And you can find me on Instagram and Twitter and everywhere else except for Facebook. Everything is at Robert and Cheek except for Facebook, which we discovered this past week is actually Rob Cheek Esquire. ESQ on the end of it. So that's what you can find on Facebook.
Because he is a lawyer and pretentious.
Pretentious lawyer. I'd like you to know that I am an attorney. Hey, Shannon, do you want people to find you?
Sure, why not?
Yeah.
Some of our guests don't like to do that.
Yeah. We get around to our guest and we're just like, where can people follow you on Twitter? And it's like, don't follow me on Twitter.
I don't want that.
I mean, about that Twitter life.
I don't really do the Twitter that much, but my
gotta
name
join
on Twitter is at Shannon, the number 9, and then you can find me on.
Wait, how many nas is that?
Na.
Okay.
3.
It'll be in the
show notes.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah, and then on Facebook it's /producer Shannon.
Producer Shannon.
Yep.
Producer Shannon.
Yeah, and we are excited I'm excited to have a discussion after this, actually. That's what I think I'm looking forward to more than anything else.
Yep.
So,
But
don't
for
forget,
Rob...
Wait. Don't forget that our contest is ongoing at the top and at the base. Right?
Yeah.
So $150 cash prize. Cory will do a music video for you, and we can talk about other future projects that you might be involved in. Send us to Cory@otheanthem.com. Your clips, or I guess try to get in touch with them through the website for the theme song. And it can be anything, any genre. It doesn't really matter. So
Yeah, just as long as it's... I guess the only... I don't want to put any rules on it.
Yeah.
I guess just something that isn't like 28 minutes long like the Pink Floyd track. Because I will just have to cut it down.
We're going to cut the 25 seconds
to
out
like
of
the
it.
best 25 seconds, and then there will be an expanded cut somewhere else. But
Yes, and if you've raped a baby, we don't want your track either.
Ooh.
yeah,
That's
I
the
don't
other
want.
thing.
I don't want your dirty, dirty music.
Your lost property music.
Yeah. So for Rob,
See, you actually did it correctly that time, except for you didn't go with yourself after that. I would say for Cory, this is Rob. So you said that correctly. But
for Cory,
yeah, now you're not doing it correctly. That was more frustrating than the last time, where you're just like, here, I'm going to say it correctly, but not follow up with anything else.
yeah, that's.
Oh,
I wanted to tease you with
my
the
head.
think that you actually changed me.
I didn't.
Cory.
There's no hope that I'm going to do that. So for Cory and Shannon, this is Rob. Thank you for listening. This, once again, is the The Anthem podcast. Have a great week, everybody.
See ya.